Hello, bankers. So, very good evening to all of you. Welcome back. So, welcome to another session. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to all of you. So, quickly join in so that we can start our today's discussion. All right. So, today's discussion is all about your next module, that is Module D, right? So, today we will be discussing things around the Module D and when it comes to module D, so module D is all about industrial relation. So the things related to industrial relation and others, 5 units are there. So we will be targeting all the 5 units which are part of our curriculum itself, right? So everyone quickly join in and do let me know if all good from my side. Audio and video is fine now. Rani ma'am is here. Rani ma'am, very good evening. Other also guys, a very good evening to all of you. So when it comes to module D, it is all about your areas like we have personal management and industrial relation. So the areas which we have first two unit 15 and 16, which is all about industrial relation. Industrial relations means आपका the different act आपका related to these employee protection and all, right? Then we have employee grievances. This is something how we handle the conflict at the workplaces. Then we have workers participation in management, and this is all about employee buy-in. The final one we have employee discipline, and which also include the areas related to Posh Act and others, which are generally part of this particular one, right? Yes, so Rani ma'am, like you are at the boundary line, right? So anyhow, you have to score good in this particular subject. If you score good, like I guess you need 5-6 marks additional, आपका, right? So you will be able to qualify in this single attempt only. So I'll suggest कि for the remaining few days, आपका, ठीक है? If it is possible, you can take a leave for Saturday also, right? So you can revise things and all. So so what I like just module wise practice or these particular session will help you in this journey, right? Chalo. So next, let's start with the first one. So when it comes to your industrial relations, I guess there are many people who are at the boundary line, and there are few people who require only just 45 plus. Okay, अच्छा you need आपका 45 वन ओके चलो nice then हाँ so 45 is आपका doable easy score, right? So when it comes to your personal function, the basic introduction, then we have legal aspect of personal function, then we have legislation of working conditions, industrial relation code 2020, this is something which is bit important. Then we have legislation on wages, social security, and आपका empowerment and training and changing scenario. So there are many act, आपका bonus act, wage act, and we there is one another act. We club all these particular one and we created आपका industrial relation code 2020, right? So how this entire things which generally work, that is something which generally comes under this one, ठीक है? Saurabh sir, Saurabh sir is sir just 50 anyhow. Okay. बिल्कुल Saurabh sir. So now when it comes to your role, like tomorrow we will be completing, then day after tomorrow we will be doing one आपका complete revision with practice. Then day after that we will be revising आपका important theories or model or act आपका which frequently get asked, right? So we will be working around those particular one. So when it comes to your role of personal management, so this is something like how we are generally taking care about the employees and their well-being itself, right? So which generally include areas related to Subhu sir, very good evening, huh? So employee well-beings, the safety, health facilities, career development and all. Then आपका relationship management, industrial dispute resolution, union negotiation, and maintaining the morale itself. So it is internal as well as external. Internal, how you are handling these particular things. External, there are some laws, there are some act. So anyhow, we have to follow those particular one, or they generally decide the minimum requirement from those particular one, which is equal to आपका organizational success. So modern organization which are generally driven by the employees itself, right? So employee welfare and the compliances, external आपका mostly, right? So how we are generally managing those particular things, and with this, how we are generally trying to achieve the organizational success. Okay? Achieving both individual and business goal. So personal management is a key managerial function that constantly evolving into the comprehensive आपका human resource management, because things they generally get changed after, like even the external things which is related to laws and all, and the internal also, the human expectations from the organization that also increase or आपका which generally also varied with the time itself, right? So personal function of when it comes to this particular part. So let's just try to build, we are just trying to build a basic understanding around topic, then we will come to the core areas. So personal management is something आपका which is management of human beings, is a key managerial function involving planning, organizing, directing, controlling and coordinating various HR activities like आपका recruitment, training, compensation and employee welfare to achieve both individual and organizational goal. It focus on the managing relationship among employee and ensuring their well-being to enhance the overall performance. Evolving into human resource management, it encompasses the main areas like your welfare, then आपका personal aspect which is welfare related to safety, health facilities. Personal, it is आपका recruitment, development, incentive, and the relationship, a good relation. With that we are generally trying to create a positive work culture or environment. So employee relation, industrial dispute resolution and union negotiation and all. So the key strategic functions which are part of the personal management: defining the organization's mission and vision, setting the business goal, formulating strategies and aligning HR practices with the organization आपका life cycle stages. So that is something what generally comes under this particular one. This is all about the strategic HRM things, right? So three aspects of personal management or personal function of HR. First one is strategic, which is aligning the mission vision. This, so basically the example is formulating a competency framework for leadership role based on the expectations, expansion plan. The areas which generally include alignment with the mission and vision of the organization, business goal and आपका workforce alignment. When it comes to आपका professional function, maintenance आपका areas like performance management reviews, KRA, KPIs, driving employee morale, designing quarterly review with the KPI focus on customer retention. Then when it comes to the administrative function, which is आपका that HRP2, succession planning, recruitment, onboarding, training, development, compensation. So implementing health insurance plan and organizing the orientation sessions and all, which generally comes under this particular one itself, right? So that is something what we generally trying to achieve with this particular one itself, right? Now the next one आपका, ठीक है, so the next one is the topic, the core topic which generally start from here itself, that is called legal aspect, right? So basically we have duality of the corporate operation. It is आपका protection, protecting laborers from exploitation through the structured आपका right. Basically this is something कि to prevent आपका or any sort of exploitations of labor. So we do have many act आपका act like minimum wage act we have, or factories act is there, right? We have equal remuneration act, we have payment of bonus act, or many more, right? So the modern reality, business operate independently but must comply with the responsible आपका corporate citizen. It is something which is part of the corporate governance. When you are making any decision, so how you taking care around the employees itself. Okay, employee is one of the stakeholders of the organization, so this is your responsibility while you are making any decision, how you taking care around those one. So the broad objective, core legislative objective, to protect the working class from the arbitrary employer action आपका, so especially related to any sort of harassment of these labor and others. Regulate and improve the working conditions, ensure fixation, timely payments, and authorize आपका deductions of wages. Then we have arrange social security like insurance and all these particular things. Promote आपका industrial pace and ease of doing business. So this is something कि we are with these particular initiative, or we do have many act. All these particular act are aligned around these particular goal itself, so that we can आपका make sure कि we can protect the rights and interest of the laborers in the organization. So whatever we have discussed, that is something related to this. So now we have many legislation here. We have Factories Act 1948, Mine Act 1952, Contract Labor Act 1972, and then we have Shop and Establishment Act, आपका, which is very state to state. Then we have legislation on wages. So these are not part of your curriculum, but these are generally part of Payment of Wage Act आपका 1936. Then it get amended in 1948. Payment of bonus आपका 1965. Equal remuneration. Then all these three आपका club to IR Industrial Relation 2000, Industrial Relation Code 2020 आपका, right? So first we will be discussing all these particular one by one. Then we will come to IR, and then आपका the other aspect, then we will be practicing. Okay? These topic are bit legal. I hope you guys have gone through these particular things in BRBL also. Okay? Hopefully these are part of the BRBL things. If not, then again we will be going through all these particular one by one, right? So the revision or the overall areas and all. Okay? This is something that we have to remember for the examination also, right? So categorization of your labor legislations. So working condition, we have Factories, Mine, Contract and Soft Establishment Act. When it comes to related to wage, we have Payment of Wage Act, आपका Minimum Wage Act, Payment of Bonus Act, आपका Equal Remuneration Act. Then it comes to Social Security, Employee Compensation Act 1923, ESI, EPF, आपका maternity benefit and payment of gratuity. When it comes to your employment and training, so Employment Exchange Act and Apprentice Act 1961. So these are the different act which generally protecting the interest and right of the आपका employees at the workplace, especially the labor class, right? So because their right got exploited many times, we heard many cases around those particular thing. This is something what we have discussed earlier also, right? So the broad objectives of these particular act आपका, which we have discussed earlier. So please quickly go through this particular one once. Done है? चलो, now we will start with the very first act, which is Contract Labor Act. All the act which are given in this particular curriculum. The first one is Contract Labor Act 1970. So this is something when it comes to Contract Labor Act, this is आपका related to regulation and abolition of these particular laborers, right? So apply to establishment with 20 plus आपका workmen. So any established organization which is having 20 plus or 20, more than 20 workmen, so enhanced to 50 in the Maharashtra state wise आपका, right? Require principal employer registration and contractor license in that particular case. Then we have facilitated required आपका canteen, if you are having 100 plus. This is something the core facilities. If you are having 100 plus employees, so canteen आपका or restroom or the first aid is kind of must in these type of organization. So this is something kind of some sort of legal bindings around these particular, like let's say if you are running a factory where we are having 20 plus आपका, so this is something which will be come under this one. And if you are having a employment base of more than 100, so in that particular case you will be requiring आपका canteen or these particular basic facilities must be there. When it comes to Bombay Shop and Establishment Act 1948, so maximum working hours will be 9 hours per day, or per week आपका it can be 48 hours. Mandatory weekly holiday आपका, ठीक है, close 1 day a week, means like it can be the choice of the employer, but आपका you have anyhow you have to give 1 day week आपका week off to the employees or workers. Leave आपका 21 days leave after working of 240 days in a year itself. That is something which is generally defined under this particular one. Let's go through this one. So the Contract Labor Regulation and Evolution Act 1970 aim to regulate and abolish contract labor where possible. It applied to establishment with 20 or more workmen, or it is enhanced to 15 Maharashtra as per 2017, or it can be state-wise amendments also taken, and exclude those with the आपका intermittent or a casual work. So key provision under this particular one are, so it is आपका workmen are deemed contract labor if hired through a contractor, even आपका right. So third party contractor itself. Principal employer must register the company itself or the factory itself, and contractor must obtain a license from employing contracted labor itself. Okay, so whoever is contracted, they'll be requiring some sort of license to contract these kind of employments. Unregistered or revoked principal employers are prohibited from hiring a contract labor itself. Government may prohibit आपका contract laborers based on the work conditions or necessity or nature and the duration itself. Contractor must provide canteen आपका 100 plus workers if it is restroom, drinking water, washing facilities, and this and these particular. So this is something like very basic one itself, like the basic requirement which which a human being required at a workplace itself. So that is generally governed through the Contract Labor Act 1970 itself. So please do remember these particular one. The next one we have a legislation which is Payment of Wage Act 1936. So it is applicability limit is if the salary is less than 24,000 आपका per month. So wage definition which exclude the bonus, PF, contribution or the gratuity. Yeah, these will not get included in this 24,000. So workforce size आपका if it is less than 1,000 employees must be paid by the 7th of the day, the salary payments आपका, right? When it comes to, if it is more than this, must be paid on 10th of the day itself, right? Let's go through this particular one also in detail. So Payment of Wage Act 1936 objective is to regulate payments of wage at least once in a month and at a regular interval, and to prevent the unauthorized deduction from the wages itself. So the feature and main provision, the act is made applicable by the state government by notification establishment. So the wage is आपका less, it is applicable. The act cover employees whose wage are less than 24,000 per month as per the government gazetted notice आपका 2017. The term wage has a very wide coverage आपका, like remuneration, overtime payments, leave salary, payment on termination, but exclude bonus, contribution to PF or pension funds or any gratuity payable itself. So that will not get included in 24,000, but others आपका they are generally part of this one. In organization, employee less than 1,000, the wage shall be paid before the expiry of 7th day आपका, means the next month 7 day or before than that they have to pay this. If it is more than 1,000 आपका 10th is the आपका date in that particular one. Okay, so this is आपका like they have to pay salary before 7 or आपका it is आपका before 10th आपका, or 10th or before than that. When it comes to payment of wage is to be made in currency note on authorization from the employee. Payment can be made by check or आपका credit of the employee's account itself. So how you are paying salaries to the customer, these people, it is आपका cash, currency note, or आपका by authorization you can pay through the check or you can credit the bank account. So provided that apprenticeship appropriate government may be notification in the आपका official gazetted in this particular one regarding payment is to be made without deduction except those deductions which are authorized by the act आपका deductions like आपका the remuneration this will income include आपका income remuneration overtime and thus these will be excluded from any sort of deduction itself. So these are this is the areas related to your the payment of wage act 1936. The next act we have, that is your minimum wage act 1948, which provide for a fixed time or a piece or overtime rate. It is does not apply to bank, not treated as आपका schedule employees. The another act which we will be going, that is your payment of bonus act 1965. So it is applied to establishment with 20 plus person. Employee salary must be less than equal to 21,000 per month. Must have work after more than 30 days in that accounting period. And calculation rule is bonus is calculated if salary were आपका ₹7,000 or minimum wage आपका whichever is higher in that particular one, and on that basic itself we are paying these particular salaries itself, right? So minimum wage act 1948, the act aimed to provide fixing minimum rate of wage in certain employments, the areas, the core feature. So the act is applicable to employment listed in part 1 and part 2 of schedule to the act. It covers the certain establishment regardless of number of workers employed. Some of the establishment cover like rice mill, flour mill, tobacco manufacturing, oil mill, employments in agriculture and horticulture in this, irrespective of number. This point is bit important. Please do remember. Appropriate government has power to add the list. आपका state governments, they do have power to add list आपका in this particular one. In if any specific business they want to list in that particular case, they do have that particular power. Third one is wage means all remuneration capable of being expressed in term of money payable to a person, but does not include value accommodations, supply of light, आपका water and other amenities, contribution to the pension funds और आपका provident funds or social insurance scheme or the gratuity payables on discharge and the traveling allowances. So again these will not included, rest आपका will be part of this. Where the appropriate government has fixed minimum rate of wage, the employer is bound to pay at a rate not less than the rate आपका notified. Let's say state government have come up with some statement like the some limits आपका, so that will be the that is kind of a minimum one, right? So that, and the employer they need to pay above than that only. Then next one we have the rate of wage can be fixed for a different employment or class of employment or आपका different localities. The rate may be a time rate or a piece rate or per hours or per unit, right? और आपका guaranteed time rate or and overtime आपका, right? So time rate means per hour this will be, or overall hours per unit आपका guaranteed time आपका, like let's say 7 hours 8 hours which is minimum guarantee provided by employers, or the overtime rate itself. Any contract or agreements by an employee relinquishing his or her right under the act shall be null and void in this particular one. Okay? So any contract or agreement by employee which is relinquishing his or her right under this particular act will be null and void. So the act has a fix the floor, the label of wage. Provision of this act not apply to bank as it is not treated as scheduled employment itself. Next one, Bonus Act 1965, another one which we have. This is visible, right? So the objective of Bonus Act is to provide the payment of bonus to person employed in a certain establishment on the basis of profit or on the basis of production or productivity and matters connected आपका thereof. Okay? So bonus is like something which is mostly it is linked with the profit thing, but in some manufacturing and others they generally link these particular one with the production and productivity of that particular establishment. So features आपका, the core feature, the act applies to all factories and establishment employing आपका 20 and more people. Then we have bonus is payable to employee whose salary wages does not exceed आपका 20,000 per month. It is not exceeding आपका 20,000 per month. The another one is who has worked in the establishment for not less than 31 years in a particular year itself. Not disqualified to claim bonus due to fraud, theft, or any other misconduct. So these will not disqualify the bonus of that particular person. Bonus of very person drawing salary between 7,000 to 21,000 per month shall be calculated if his salary is 7,000 per month or the minimum wage of the employment as fixed by the government. ठीक है, let's say the salary is आपका 7,000 or 8,000, minimum wage is 15,000, so it will be accounted on the 15,000 itself. ठीक है, so it will be accounted on the minimum of the employment आपका. ठीक है, so it is आपका bonus of every person drawing salary between 7 to 21 per month shall be calculated if his salary was 7,000 per month or the minimum ways of the employment as fixed by the appropriate governments आपका, right? So let's say if minimum wage is less than that or whatever the value is minimum side, so basically on that particular one we are calculating this particular one. ठीक है, sorry, whichever is higher, it should be whichever is higher, right? So like let's say minimum wage is 15,000 and salary is 8,000. So first of all this will be not a case will be reversed. Like let's say minimum wage is 8,000 and salary is 15,000, so we will be accounting this particular one on the 15,000 itself. Sorry, please do correct this one, right? So because minimum salary if it is आपका 8,000, so the salary will be above than that only. Salary include basic pay and dearness allowances, but no other allowances will included in this. Determination of gross profit is the first step toward the calculating the amount of bonus because it is linked with the profit itself, right? The procedure of calculating gross profit is given in the first schedule of the banking companies. Means that same rule आपका, ठीक है, it is net sales minus आपका cost of goods sold, that is the gross profit for that particular one. From gross profit certain charges are to be deducted such as remuneration of the partners or proprietors, means the portion of the directors or the owners and all. Then आपका return of 8.5% on equity capital and 6% in reserve आपका depreciation in under this particular one. After deducting these, available surplus is arrived at आपका 67% of the available surplus is which is allocable surplus for a company, and other आपका 60% bonus is to be paid on this particular amount itself. So how what we have done, this is something आपका कि after deducting all these particular one plus the director's money or the owner's money or their remuneration in equity portion आपका, then we are paying the allocable amounts, available surplus on which we are paying this आपका bonus amount. Every employee who has worked for not less than 30 days in an accounting year is eligible for bonus. Employee is however disqualified if he or she is dismissed for the fraud or आपका any riots or आपका premises in this, sorry. So again there is one another statement आपका ना, so this is something कि if any person who kept in these kind of activities, they will be disqualified for this one. There was one statement, I guess, no, not here. Okay, that was I guess in previous one आपका. So here it is आपका disqualified. ठीक है, for bonus when it that was for minimum wage act आपका, right? So in that particular one it is allowed, but in case of आपका bonus things, they will be get disqualified for that particular one. Please do remember this one. ठीक है, so in this one there must be somewhere आपका traveling allowances. Look at this. It was somewhere. I just missed that particular one. Okay, I'm not getting that particular statement right now, but it in some cases आपका it was, in the previous case आपका it was, it will not affect the minimum wage, but when it comes to this particular one, it will affect the bonus distribution in this, right? Third point in this particular one, one, two, three. No, this is not related to that particular one. अच्छा हाँ, not qualified to claim bonus due to आपका this, हाँ, तो this is also same thing, so it is not qualified आपका, and this is also explained in this one. Yes, yes, sir, thank you. So this is the case आपका which is generally part of this one, right? Next one, guys. So these act will confuse. Please go through these particular one and do revise. I what I'll suggest, right? So when it comes to this was part of your BRBL kya? If it is part of BRBL, so you will not face that आपका that much of difficulty, I guess. But if it is आपका not part of BRBL, so at least go through these particular statement. And I have kept आपका that book cutting also so that you can follow these particular one. So the next one we have Equal Remuneration Act आपका, that is equal pay for men and women for same or similar work, 1976. Then we have it prohibit discrimination in recruitments, promotion and training. Trade Union Act आपका 1926, it provide a legal status for the registered आपका trade union, even which is we in banking also we do have those. Grant immunity to officers, office bearers from the civil criminal liability for pursuing legitimate union activities, ठीक है, like what we usually do in that particular case, ठीक है. So it is आपका like any they can called off they can आपका go for the strike, or they can give these kind of direction and all again. So this act is protecting them so that there is no criminal liability pursuing legitimate to those particular union activities and all. Yeah. So Trade Union Act 1926 has been successfully consolidated in Industrial Relation Code 2000 आपका 28 से, ठीक है. So 26 which generally merged with the, and it is consolidated in IR Industrial Relation Code 2020. So again, there are all the content, whichever content is given in book. So I have kept these particular one. Achha, they were not part in BRBL kya. Mostly BRBL cover every act आपका. So the Equal Remuneration Act आपका objective to provide the payment of equal remuneration to men and women, and for prevention of discrimination on the ground of sex against women. And the act has also seek to provide. Okay, now it is fine. Can you hear me, guys? All good? There was a power cut. Now it is fine. Okay. So when it comes to the feature and main provision of this particular act, so this is related to the remuneration include basic salary and any additional uh, emolum- emoluments payable in cost or in kind. So basically it is आपका, we are pursuing the equality between men and women, right? So we are not having any sort of discrimination around the आपका the first one and the basic salary or additional benefit. It is the duty of the employer to pay equal remuneration to men and women for the same work. No discrimination will be made while recruiting for a same work except where the employment of women is prohibited or restricted. No discrimination should be made against women in the matter of condition of service or promotion or training. It is obligatory to maintain prescribed register and other document in relation to employees itself, right? It is still blur क्या आपका, ठीक है? Okay, just a minute, I'll rejoin the another in network. Now it is fine kya? Still the same any sort of discrimination आपका between men and women around the employment benefits, right? So this is all about this. This act, although may also be applicable to bank, since this aspect is taken care of the industry level wage settlement, and the burden of आपका compliance of the provision of this act is not at individual bank level to comply with the provision of the bipartite settlement. So when it comes to Equal Remuneration Act 1976, which is applicable to bank also, because it is the policies are same all the banks which are part of the आपका RBI itself, right? So that is something which generally comes under this particular one. Done it. Now, what we have done, now it is okay. Okay. Chalo. Now, these particular act, whatever act we have discussed, like we created Industrial Relation Code IR 2020. So Trade Union Act 1926, Industrial Employment 1946, and Industrial Dispute. Okay. So these three act आपका which generally get there must be industrial dispute also, right? We miss industrial dispute ka. Just a minute, huh? Okay. There is a sequence issue. Just a minute. I'll fix this one first. Okay. Next one we have will come to the IR 2020. But before that, we have Industrial Dispute Act. So 1947. So the core objective is to provide conciliation machinery to settle the dispute, prevent आपका illegal strike and lockouts, and provide compensation to for layoff, आपका retrenchment and closure itself. So this is something how this act is protecting employees as well as employers. So it is appropriate government, central government cover banking, insurance, mine, state government cover आपका others. Public utility services like railways, postal, telegraph, the government can strictly prohibit आपका strike in these particular areas itself. So now, which is generally comes also become part of the IR. So first, let's go through these particular one also in detail. So when it comes to Industrial Dispute Act 1947, so it is आपका this act has since been consolidated or replaced along with two more आपका Trade Union Act and your 1926 and your IR Industrial Employments Act 1946 as a your Industrial Relations Code 2020. So means IR 2020 is a combination of ID 1947 or trade unions or आपका Industrial Employment 1946. So now when it comes to the core objectives of Industrial Dispute Act, this is aimed this is an act to provide the investigation and settlement of individual dispute between employer and employee, workmen workmen versus workmen and employers and versus aqua workmen, all these particular one. The Supreme Court through various judgment has outlined the objective, the core objective to ensure social justice to employer and employee to bringing about the harmony, then settle dispute through the आपका conciliatory machinery. Then we have prevent illegal strike and lockout by the employees, to provide compensation to workmen in case of layoff, आपका retrenchment and आपका closure, to promote collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is basically to create a win-win situation between आपका employer and employees. So the features and important provision, the act define the appropriate government. It means any industrial carried out by the central government or banking or insurance or mine, they comes under central, and the other आपका generally the state government, others आपका state government, ठीक है. And when it comes to the central services like railways and others, so the strike and other kind of things are prohibited in this particular case itself. So this is something, a core summary, the core areas, which is very well defined in this particular one. Now, the next one which we have, that is called IR 2020. So trade these three, they generally get आपका merge or kind of club, and we created Industrial Relations Code 2020. Objective: promote ease of doing business, reduce the compliance burden, and modernize the legal framework आपका, and which is helping both parties, employer and employees. So this is something when it comes to the comparatives 1947 versus 2020. Layoff retrenchment आपका threshold, permission required for 100 plus employees. Now if any company having 300 plus employees, ठीक है, if they are going for any sort of layoff and आपका retrenchment, they have to take permission आपका in this particular case 300 plus employees. Strike and lockdown, no specific preconditions for all industries. 14 days prior notice is mandatory for all strike and lockout in this particular case. Third one is आपका reskilling funds not mentioned, ठीक है. Here it is आपका employer must contribute 15 days of wage for आपका retrench workers into a reskilling आपका fund itself. Any sort of like upgradation around this, like let's say if they are going for any sort of आपका certifications and all, so this is something what the provision IR code provide कि the employers responsibility if it is something related to employments आपका or the job itself, the 15 days आपका wage will be provided by the employer itself, right? So these are some areas, some important committee will be required. Okay. So this is to resolve dispute and promote amity between the worker and the management. 300 plus आपका employees, standing orders. Employer must prepare draft आपका standing orders within the 6 month of the period itself. That is something which is generally part of this. Apart from this compliance requirement, work committee. So the committees which is required, a work committee, 100 or more workers, constitute of work committee constituting of the representation of employers and the workers. When it comes to grievance redressal committee, 20 plus more workers. And when it comes to preparation of draft standing orders by the employers, 300 or more workers, employers must prepare a draft standing orders within a period of 6 months for the date of commencement of the code itself. So these are the basic requirements and days which are generally part of this one. So the overall wage and leave mode आपका payment of wage which is less than 24,000, आपका the act applicability of act, bonus आपका eligibility 21,000 less than equal to 7,000 or minimum wage आपका, that SOP Act 21 days area after 240 days worked the leave areas itself. When it comes to headcount rules, contract laborers 20 plus, in Maharashtra 50 plus. When it comes to the IR code grievances committee within 20, if it is आपका 20 plus peoples, IR code work committee 100 plus, IR code standing orders layoff आपका 300 plus. So timelines, wage आपका less than 1,000 employees by 7 days. Wage payment is mandatory. If it is more than 1,000, 10th of the day, or next month 10th of the day, or before than that. IR code strike notice आपका before 14 days you have to, before the strike 14 days आपका before you have to send a prior notice. It is reskilling funds आपका 15 days wage should be contributed by the employer itself. So these are some important date and amounts which are generally part of this particular one. Okay, so please revisit these particular one once and twice. Now let's, with the help of questions, we'll try to recall all the areas. So sir, now it is fine, kya? And like आपका first unit only which have these particular act. Second one is which is we as a banker are a bit familiar with that particular part, easy things. Third unit is also easy. Fourth one is आपका where we have POS related things. Otherwise it is also easy. ठीक है, तो POS related areas, the POS Act 13, you have to go through that particular one once and twice. Okay, I'll rejoin this particular one. Huh? power is back and I have to change the internet connection. Answer, guys. So the first, आपका when it comes to the statements itself, so what will be your correct answer in the context of personal management and evolving HR practices? Which of the following statement are correct? So first, competency mapping. So when it comes to the first statement, आपका the competency mapping and identification of organizational capabilities are part of the strategic function of the personal management. Yes. The second one, employee wellness and succession planning fall exclusively under the personal professional function of HR management. आपका this is where employee succession is part of the administrative function and all. This should be wrong, huh? Under the professional function of this one. But this should be administrative function. We will revisit this. Performance management system and employee morale. आपका performance management system and employee morale improvements are included within the professional function and professional function of your personal management. This should be correct. The next one is industrial relation and negotiation with union continue to remain relevant even in modern HR environment. Recruitments, compensation and reward and recognition are treated as आपका administrative. हाँ, this also should come under the administrative only. There was 1 3 areas now. So 1 3 4 5 1 3 no 1 3 B should be right answer. What do you guys suggesting? Sir is saying B. B only. I'll also go with the B statement. आपका right. So yes. So when it comes to second statement, employee wellness and succession planning are classified under the administrative function. Rest all are correct in this particular case. Next one, guys. With reference to labor legislation and personal function in India, so this unit आपका MCQs are very important. Reason being because there are many guidelines and all, right? So I'll highly recommend, guys, what you can do, just go through those act आपका and do revise with the question itself, right? So you can go आपका twice to that particular act and all. आपका module base आपका test again and again, so that will help you to recall or memorize all these particular ones. So labor laws in India aim only protecting workers, do not address ease of doing business. They do. So this is wrong. First statement is wrong here. Second statement, Industrial Relation Code 2020 consolidated certain earlier laws relating to trade unions, industrial dispute and standing orders. The next one is your since labor is placed in concurrent list of the constitution, both central and state आपका they have this one. Concurrent list means this constitution division आपका, right? We have आपका state list, we have central list, means the topic on which, if it is any topic come under the central list आपका, right? So central government will have right to take decision about that area. If it is state government list आपका, state government. Concurrent means आपका both will jointly take decision around those particular one. That is true. The Equal Remuneration Act principle are connected with ensuring equal pay for a similar work irrespective of gender. Easy one. Social security legislation generally include provision relating to employee welfare in case such as sickness, आपका disablement or retirement or maternity. Yes. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. C should be right answer for this particular. Very good, Sriyan and Sarah sir. So option C will be right answer for this particular one, right? Next one. So sir and Rani ma'am also. So which of the following statement correct regarding labor laws provision in India? So if contractor fail to pay wage to contracted labor, principal employer will be responsible for the payment, right? So that is 100% true. Second one is आपका once an establishment is registered under contract labor regulation and abolition act, contract labor cannot be prohibited in any activity. This should be wrong, right? This should be wrong, right? So after when the government authorities, they can prohibit. This was part of that discussion also. The pointers, all, even the previous one also, this one also. The appropriate authority means आपका state government or whoever the authority it is, they can prohibit आपका. This should be wrong. Relaxation in shop opening hours does not remove requirement relating to employee rest interval in this. Yes, true है. The next one we have Bombay Shop Act आपका, right? Then we have establish earn leave may be established when an employee resign or आपका discharge from service. Eligible earn leave may be in cash when they resign or आपका discharge from the duties. Outsourcing of non-core activities is generally permissible subject to compliance with labor and regulatory requirement. Outsourcing of non-core activities is generally permissible subject. Yes, this is also true, right? So one matlab they are not dealing with the same business, they are outsourcing in some other ways, right? So 1345, 1345 means option B should be right answer for this particular one. What do you suggest, guys? Option B, yes, very good. So 1345 option B will be correct answer for this one. The only incorrect is appropriate government authorities may prohibit contract labor in certain आपका perennial or a core activities, etc. Right? Next one. Answer. See guys, if you'll read, if you'll, because these are the same line what is given, which are given in your book आपका. So if you'll go through these particular, you will become आपका more familiar with those particular statement what we have gone through. So with reference to trade union law and the present industrial relation framework in India, you have to find out the correct statement. So a trade union of workmen may be denied आपका registration if it failed to maintain the prescribed minimum membership requirement at the time of application. This is true. So there are some numbers. Accordingly, the registration will occur. The next one, a registered trade union automatically require a separate legal identity capable of suing or being sued by आपका in the name, means it should be a registered firm आपका, right, artificial entity or business. The next one is contributions to the political funds. Contribution to the political fund can be made compulsory for all members as long as the union constitution permit such collection. No, there is as a unions contribution is not compulsory. It is आपका choice of the employees, so this should be wrong. At आपका at least half of the office bearer of registered trade union should ordinarily आपका B person actually engaged or employed in the concerned industry. Basically in banking what happened, mostly all the union person are generally the retired bankers, right? So the provision says at least half आपका of the overall list they should be from the relevant field आपका, right? So it generally suggests आपका कि those who are working in that industry or those who have worked in that industry. So that is something related to this. A trade union existing for more than 1 year before registration may be required to submit a statement of all asset and liabilities to the registrar. This is also correct. Please do remember this statement because I guess this was not part of that slide itself. So 1245. 1245 means option A will be right answer for this particular one. Very good, Murli sir and Rani ma'am. So yes, so आपका when it comes to contribution to the political funds cannot be made compulsory and non-contributing members cannot be disadvantages from the decision itself, right? Next one, with reference to trade union law and the present industrial relation, one more question around that particular one. So a trade union of workmen may be denied registration if failed to maintain the prescribed minimum membership requirements at the time of application. I guess this is a repeat statement from the previous question. A registered trade union automatically acquire a separate legal entity capable of suing, and this is also, but the statement was but differ same. Contribution to political funds can be made compulsory. No, this is the same question. Kya? At least half of the office bearer are registered to trade unions. For a person this engaged in this is true. A trade union exists more than 1 year. This is same question. Sorry, option A only. So same question. Sorry. Yes. Next one. Next question, guys. So with reference to industrial, this statement is missing. Huh? Just go for this. With reference to industrial relation code 20 and related labor law developments in India, you have to find out the correct statement. Options are visible till option, if I'll zoom it out. Even now also you cannot see all the option, right? Option C, option D I'll write here. It is आपका 1, option D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. This is your option D. Can you are you able to read this one? I'll zoom it out. Huh? So, working journalist and certain sales promotion employees are included within the broadened definition of workers under the आपका IR code 2020. When it comes to the next statement, fixed term employees are entitled to fixed term employee are entitled to wage and service benefit at par with the permanent workers for a similar work proportionate to the period of service rendered. This is also true. Third one is your an industrial establishment employ 300 or more workers are generally require prior government permission before layoff, आपका retrenchment or the closure. This is also true. A trade union can recognize as the sole negotiating union only if it secures 51% at least 51% of workers on muster roll for the establishment, kind of a vote count from the participating users more than 51%, so they can negotiate on behalf of that. The next one we have where no trade union आपका secure 51% support, only union having at least 10% worker support are eligible for representation in the negotiating council. It is not 10%, it is 30% or आपका something else. ठीक है, it should be 20 to 30%, 20 or 30%. हाँ, this should be wrong. 20 to 30% आपका, और there is a range or there is a defined number आपका 20% or 30%. This should be wrong. Under the code, restrictions relating to strike and lockout applicable only to public utility service. No, it is not allowed to these particular one, right? In आपका it is clearly mentioned in that one. Concern casual leave by 50% or more workers on a given day, it is known as a strike आपका, right? So this is a code of strike itself, right? True है ये 100%. Like let's say if you are having 10 employees in a branch, 6 are on leave आपका, which is generally आपका casual leave, all are on casual leave, means it will be considered as a strike. Every individual establishment employing 20 or more workers must constitute a grievance redressal committee, equal employ people from employer and employee representation. आपका the reskilling fund आपका created under the code, 15 days आपका wage will be required, right? This is आपका true. Retrench आपका workers 15 days. So means आपका 1 2 3 4 7 8 9 means आपका option D only will be right answer for this particular one. ठीक है, please do remember these one. आपका they will help you to revise almost the आपका all the IRC areas 2022, all the important आपका guidelines which are under this particular one. So the threshold for representation in negotiating council is आपका generally 20%. So it is not a range, it is आपका simply 20%, not 10%. Then the code expanded strike and lockout restriction beyond the public utility services in this, right? This was a major point आपका for public utility, railways and others. These are kind of not allowed case, right? Next one, guys. Okay. One question which covered almost all the laws which we have discussed, आपका, right? Please answer this question, guys. So, under the payment wage framework, an established employing fewer than 1,000 workers must generally pay wage before expiry of seventh day. That is, आपका 100% true. The first statement is right here. Okay. Sian sir is saying option B, and Subhu sir is also saying option B. Other people also, guys. The second statement, B means आपका first is right. चलो ठीक है. Employee can validly waive their statutory right to minimum wage through the written agreements exceed. No, this is not. This is second one is wrong, guys. Okay, one more chance आपका. You just Subhu sir and आपका Sriyan sir. They see employee do not have this particular one, right? It is not about employee. It is all about the establishment, the entire organization, and act is based on the numbers and all. So employee can, it is mentioned way आपका validly waived आपका their statutory right to minimum wage in this is, and even why that person will do. The other question is right. So आपका next this should be next one आपका under the payment of bonus law employee dismiss for the theft or misappropriation may be disqualified. This is yes. आपका the next one is equal remuneration obligations extend only to payment of wages, not promotion in this. No, they are related to promotion in this also. This is wrong. See, yeah, this fourth statement in this. Huh? Sometime if you get confused, like let's say if we are not sure about this, you can use the elimination also. Huh? The fourth statement you just have gone through. We just have gone through this one. Equal remuneration, Shreyan sir. Please do use these tricks also. Huh? Sometime like the game is patience only, right? Just you have to, because it is not only limited to the ways, it is also related to promotion, training, or recruitment also. Bonus under the payment of bonus legislation is payable only the establishment earn profit during the accounting period आपका. So this is see bonus, it is not only the profit, it is आपका, there are other factors also which we have gone through. This should be wrong again. So means आपका the next one, it is not limited to the gross profit only, right? So the overall output and others, there was two factors others which we have gone through. Appropriate government may mandate payment of wages only through the check or आपका bank for specified establishment. Yes, it is about the mandate. So cash is the option, but appropriate government can mandate it through the check or account transfer itself. Under the minimum wage framework, different minimum wage rate may be fixed for a different employment and localities. Yes, this was also exactly part of the statement. So 13 आपका 67 1367 Elvin sir is correct here. Subhu sir also and Rani ma'am also, right? So option A will be correct answer for this one. So any agreement by which an employee relinquishes entitlement to minimum wage is void and unenforceable. That is something आपका. Then equal remuneration provision also prohibit discrimination in promotion, training, all these particular areas. Rest all are आपका correct in this particular case itself. Correct है? चलो. Now next question. Okay. Now the next part is part B, industrial relation. The first one is bit complex because there are many act आपका related to employments and other areas. But when it comes to part B, it is very easy. Okay? So it is something related to your activity, day-to-day things and all. So we have trade unions movement, trade union in bank आपका. Then we have industrial relation and we have collective bargaining. Okay? A win-win situation while we generally negotiate the wage, salaries, and others. So let's go through this particular one. Statement 2, just a minute, sir. Sorry. So statement 2 is, so employee can validly, it is mentioned ki as an employee, I am having an option to opt this minimum wage or not, right? This is not about an individual employee. Okay, this is something the statement is saying ki as an employee, the person is having कि they want to take benefit of minimum wage or not. Okay, but this is not something related to this agreement. Any agreement by which employee relinquish entitlement to minimum wage is void and आपका unenforceable. This is about the entitlement in the entity as well as the entitlement to the entity आपका. So that's why it was wrong in this case. So sir, for your question in this particular one. So industrial relation, we have these particular areas. So when it comes to trade unions, आपका the basic thing. So colonial era आपका ठीक है, labor struggle ignite and organize movement to safeguard workers' right. Then आपका 1949 pre 1949, this is the British era. ठीक है, so they were having a least access to the area. When it comes to the pre 1949, आपका private regional banks feature long hours and inadequate wage to their employees. Then 1949, Sane Tribunal, please do remember the name of, the tense industrial atmosphere, आपका force government referral for the education, formalizing bank unionism, unions and others, right? So sane tribunals आपका which generally give some sort of authority or आपका approvals around the forming of these particular one, and so that employees they can get some sort of आपका like they can whatever challenges they are facing they can put out those particular. So union is something like as we have our union now, right? That there are different, for workmen union is different, officers union is different, right? For bank wise we have different unions and all, and eventually आपका they generally, when it comes to the bipartite settlements, they generally represent all the bankers. So this unit is all about the union, the union which we have basically in our banking system. They are mostly useless, but sometimes how they generally act, आपका the challenges what they face and others, that something comes under this. So the story will generally start from here itself. 1949, Sane Tribunal, who generally they generally provide आपका started these particular one. So union is strength. This is something they are representing all the employees. So they have employee vote counts, equal pay for the equal work, and आपका security of social security of service, social and economic security itself, right? So these are basically the fundamentals or the expectations from these particular one. Here, like when it comes to the trade unions in the banking sector, so for workmen staff आपका we have in bilateral settlements, they generally coverage historically covered almost 90% of workmen staff at a peak beginning of the strength. Like these are the name. I hope you guys are well aware of these particular one. Then we have officers organization, joint note आपका, ठीक है. So these are the areas, right? So they are like most of the time the 5 days working is one of the आपका demand from the 11 bipartite settlement, I guess, but they are not full. Like they generally they lack आपका at the time of final settlement, right? So when it happened आपका last year 12 settlement also, like earlier it was कि the organization is considering and all, and even IBA also, they sometime what they do, they'll आपका they'll come up with some vague answers कि the matter is with the finance ministry and all these kind of things, right? So national level we have these particular trade unions and all which generally represent the आपका employees of this particular category with the in front of आपका government of India or RBI itself, right? Routing through the IBA itself. So structural weaknesses and challenges in this unionization. So first, आपका trade union आपका rivalry in especially in other आपका categories. So multiple union competing आपका sometime, right? So they are like especially in manufacturing and all, you see these kind of, let's say in company like Hero Honda, Maruti Suzuki, their employment base is very huge. If you visit their आपका factories and all ना, thousands of people are working and they are having multiple unions आपका, right? So sometimes there is a violence occurred आपका, the fight between two different union. Political affiliation आपका divided by differing party ideologies आपका, right? So the union itself having their own agendas. Then we have prolifications and dual आपका membership, small irregular overlapping membership, workers apprehension, fear of victimization by the employers. So sometimes this is the case. Lack of leadership, ठीक है, inefficient leader hampering the growth, especially the banking. If you'll see the bank wise union na, the major challenge is कि all the leaders आपका at the top level, they all are the retired person, ठीक है. So whenever you'll see, like, there is no one who is currently working with the system itself. So what is the current situation or the current mindset of employees and what they were having at the time they are working, ठीक है. So there is a difference between these two. New generation employee showing lesser interest in the traditional union activities and all, and आपका this is the one, right? So this is something कि the areas, the kind of the challenges which these unions or the problems which we are having. Okay. So unity is strength, it is a point. Equal pay, equal work, which we have discussed आपका, right? And the problem is basically the list we have gone through: trade union rivalry, political affiliation, आपका glorification of union or apprehension of the workers and others. So these are some areas or some issues which generally faced by the union itself, ठीक है. No, you do not have to remember, Shreyan sir, ये तो याद होंगे ना, like what is the name of the union, they are going to represent you in 13 bipartite BPS आपका, ठीक है. 13 bipartite settlements meeting will start very soon because it will get implemented from आपका, it should be effective from आपका November 27, but it will take time आपका. They'll खिंचोफy that particular one for 1-2 years so that they can have some tea, coffee, samosa party. But you do not have to remember all these particular one, name list and others. चलो, now आपका industrial relation. So IR, the relationship between employer and employees in an organizational setting. That is your industrial relation. So the focus exclusively on the collective relationship, employer-employee, आपका group dynamics, that is, and human relations, which is a broader aspect, right? So broadly encompass all HR practices aspect, focusing heavily on individual relation and the overall development. So industrial relation is basically we are trying to create a आपका collaboration between the employer and employees. Whatever decision we are making, they are in a favor of both. Collaborative आपका win-to-win. HR role is something key which is generally handling all these particular one in an organization. So they are managing all these particular things आपका. So industrial relation, when it comes to the core objective, the safeguard the interest of labor and management by securing the highest level of mutual understanding and goodwill among all those sections of the industry which participate in the process of production. All the parties or stakeholders, what you can say, to avoid industrial conflict or strife and development harmonious relationship, which are essential factors for the productivity of workers and industrial progress of the country itself. To raise productivity of the higher levels, to establish and promote growth of industrial democracy, to establish and minimize the number of strike, lockout, and greve by providing reasonable wage and others. So that's something which generally comes under this particular. My screen is not visible, kya? For me, it is not visible. Anyone else also, guys? My internet, I need to change my internet, I guess. Those who are watching on application, Shreyan sir, is it fine? Alvin sir and others? Okay, okay, just a minute. Huh? Just now it is fine, kya? Now it is fine, I guess. Can you see it now, guys? Molly sir, now it is fine. I guess you guys are very happy with your own union things and all, na? Because whenever I take this topic, like there are many issues in the market. Chalo. So this is clear, guys. The objective, very simple, aapka. Why we want to create? We want to create a collaboration between employee and employer itself, right? So the core objective, what we have discussed, to safeguard the interest, protect both labor management in this, avoid any sort of conflict, raise आपका productivity, establish आपका democracy, and minimize the disruption itself. So that is something which generally comes under this particular one. So the areas which we have discussed here itself, right? Now, when it comes to the areas, the bargaining, it is called collective bargaining team. So collective bargaining is equal to create a win-win situation. Okay, so while आपका union is representing bankers in front of IBA, so whatever the demands, it is collective demand from the आपका employees, it is right, because eventually they are representing you. So it is there is a whenever they conduct these particular BPS meeting and all, so we generally try to achieve a collective bargaining, which a आपका win-win situation. So we collective bargaining, it sometime it is called आपका distributive and आपका integrative. So when it comes to distributive, it is a win-lose situation, right? So like whether it can be in the favor of आपका union or it can be in the favor of the other party. Integrative is basically which is a win-win situation for both the parties. Means distributive, it is a win situation for labor or employee, or lose situation for employer, or vice versa. But when it comes to integrative, it is a win-win situation for both the parties, employer as well as आपका employer itself. So collective bargaining, which is, we can have two type of things, but what we generally expect the integrative bargaining. Please do remember both, huh? So when it comes to this one, so distributive bargaining, handling over a piece over, sorry, haggling over a pie over the distribution of a pie itself. Basically, one party is winning, another party is losing. Okay, who will own that particular one? So win-lose situation, one party gain and other party lose. Not आपका conducive for the maintaining आपका cordial relation, because now the losing party will be angry or demotivated. Economic issues like wage, salary, remuneration, and others, right? When it comes to integrative, आपका negotiating an issue, we try to create a win-win situation. Ideal scenario for a cordial relations. The relationship between the parties, employer and employee, will be stronger, or there will be a greater interpersonal relationship. Systematic issues like better job evaluation system, training programs, and others where it can be used. So two type of bargaining आपका, which is generally part of your collective bargaining. So collective bargaining progress generally consists two areas. One is distributive, another one is your integrative. Distributive is a win-lose paradigm, and when it comes to integrative, it is a win-win आपका paradigm. It's right. When we will be going through that grievances and conflict, there will be one theory, Ralph Kilman and Kenneth. So there are 5 different approaches to handle the conflict. Okay? You remember that avoiding collaboration, compromise, suppressing, all these particular ones. So they are something which is related to the conflict handling, grievances. This is something आपका how we, when union is negotiating, how they are negotiating things, right? Next one, bargaining process. So when it comes to the bargaining process, there are 7 steps which are generally involved in this particular one. ठीक है, first आपका demand, union right to employer making and justifying a new demand like 5 days work, right, what we want. Then आपका counter, employer attempt to convince union that demand is irrelevant. Okay, they are saying no, 5 days working is आपका, like let's say this time 13 bps they went with 5 days banking plus आपका let's say 28% of hike in salary. ठीक है, last time it was around 18%, around 18% something now. So let's say 28%. So they generally they counted this. No, 5 days is kind of, we will think about this, and this is आपका not 28%. We will start with the 17%, right? So this is आपका which is proposed by them, and this is आपका pending issue. Then notice आपका notice exchange team continue back to back, back and forth issuing of notice and letters on meetings. Then आपका intensifications, union give notice to non-cooperation or the strike. If you'll not approve this, we will go on strike. Then intervention आपका, employee call union leaders for negotiation. Employer call आपका negotiation in this. Then again there will be some meetings. Then negotiation आपका round of talk with the parties trying to prove this particular point. Then settlement. ठीक है, so we generally agreements reached by a आपका compromise in this particular. ठीक है, last time 12 bps they agreed on the salary things, they ignore the 5-day working, will look after this particular one in future. That is the case. So this is something, these are the areas. So when it comes to bargaining process, आपका these are the steps which are involved. You do not have to remember these particular one step to step, just, and very simple also. I hope everyone can relate these particular things आपका, how we generally cover the areas itself. So that is something which generally comes under this particular one, and this is all about the unit itself. So let's practice with the help of some questions itself. First question on your screen, guys. And you become politically that much strong कि once you leave the bank, you become the आपका union leader. हाँ, Shreyan sir, you have to become union leader for, so you can voice, like you can put up the young voice what the people want nowadays. Srikant sir is not there. He is a perfect person for union leader. Anyone who will go, I'll support them, huh? Who will go for this leadership job, I'll support them, guys. I'll make videos in favor of like Shreyan sir. No, no Netagiri. Murali sir want to go? See, Srikant sir just came, huh? Srikant sir is a perfect person for these kind of issues and all. He will handle effectively. He solved many issues. Srikant sir, we are nominating you for this post. So which with reference to trade union in banking industry, you have to find out the correct statement. So deduction of union's subscription directly from salary is known as check off facility, right? है. Inter-union आपका rivalry can reduce the effectiveness of collective bargaining also, right? So even union also, we have two groups. So that can create some sort of, that can affect the collective bargaining. Modern banking employees are generally more inclined toward merit-based career rather than the long-term union association. This is also correct. Yeah? The way you guys are disinterested in this politics, this shows आपका this area. You are more around the merit-based आपका career growth rather than आपका involving in this netagiri things. Next one, trade union in India developed only after the economic liberalization. No, it was 1949 when we started working around this particular one, right? Then next one, sane committee basically. Political affiliation have historically influenced the functioning of several trade union. 100% true. 1235. 1235 means option B will be right answer for this particular one, right? So trade union in India exist much before of this. So that is the case. Otherwise, all the statements are correct. आपका ठीक है? So that is correct one. Right? No, I'm not a political person. Huh? I can never. I never get appointed as a class monitor. So how I'll become the political? Huh? I can support you. I can become your open supporter, but I like people never chose me as a class monitor. So how I'll become the political leaders and all. Srikant sir, with reference to industrial relation in India, which of the following statement are correct? Sure. Next one, guys. Industrial relation involve interactions among the employers, employee, and trade union and the government itself. Worker participation in management can improve organizational effectiveness and communication. Industrial peace help in reducing disputes such as strike and lockout. Human relation is confined only to wage negotiation and collective bargaining. Human relation is not limited to this particular one, right? This should be wrong, right? So, mutual trust between management and workers is important to maintaining harmonious industrial relation. Yes, 1235. 1235 means option A. Very easy question, I guess, right? So human relation is broader and include welfare, motivation, development, participative management, not just the collective bargaining itself. Next one, guys. Next one. With reference to collective bargaining and industrial relation. Okay. Integrative. Okay, answer this question, guys. Nice question. Okay. Subhu sir is saying option A. Other people also, guys. What will be your correct answer? A for this or previous question? So integrative bargaining seek outcome where both employees and management benefit. So when it comes to integrative, आपका it's a win-win call. So that means the statement is true. Collective bargaining can function as a continuous process rather than the one-time exercise. This is also correct. Distributive आपका win-lose. It is आपका win-lose. Generally associated with negotiation over wage and monetary benefit आपका. This is true. ठीक है. The subject which generally comes under this. Collective bargaining required that management in union possess identical object throughout the negotiation. No. Strong trade unions may improve the bargaining power of the employee during the negotiation. Yes. So 1235. 1235 means option C should be right answer for this particular one. Very good. We have Karsal Bharti ma'am. Okay, yes, and other people also. Why you guys are not answering? Option C will be right answer for this particular one. Next one, guys. Okay, chalo. Next one. Which of the following statement regarding the collective bargaining are correct? So, integrative bargaining focus on mutually acceptable solution rather than the win-lose आपका outcome. employer may include productivity improvement and cost efficiency condition in आपका productivity improvements in this and collective bargaining. Yes, collective bargaining is not possible if more than one union exists. No, it is not. It can be, right? Trade unions are expected to avoid, number of union will not affect this basically. Trade union are expected to avoid unreasonable policy violating and irrelevant demand during the negotiation. Mutual trust, good faith, or responsible conduct are essential for the effective bargaining. 1, 2, 4, 5. Option A only will be right answer for this particular one, right? So option A will be correct answer for this particular one. What was D? Option D is no, 5 is also correct. A mutual trust, good faith, and responsible conduct is essential for the effective bargaining. A only will be right answer, guys. Next one. Collective bargaining. One more question. So collective bargaining is a process where employer and employee negotiate employment terms to reach mutually acceptable agreements. Second one is collective bargaining agreement always require government approvals. Not no, it can be in private also, right? It primarily function as an alternative to direct negotiation between individual and employer and employees. True है. It primarily function as alternative to direct negotiation between individual employee and no, it is not individual employee, sorry. It is union versus this, na, this should be wrong, right? It is like it is not like कि one employee versus आपका the company. It is mostly when it comes to collective bargaining, it is related to the all the group of employees versus employer. Collective bargaining, because it is collective, right? Collective bargaining can help reduce upper industrial dispute by providing a structured mechanism. Yes. The next one is trade union are not essential for collective bargaining. They are again wrong. 1 and 4. 1 and 4 means option C will be right answer. C will be right answer for this one, Rani ma'am. Okay, so why C? Because legal validity of agreement depend on national labor laws. Government approval is not necessarily required. And incorrect आपका the it is not merely individual negotiation. It is collective आपका basically the group. And trade unions are generally central to collective bargainings, or they are kind of a representative in that particular case itself, right? That's why option C. Next one. Okay. Now we have employee grievances, redressal, and आपका discipline. So this is something which is all about the conflict and the conflict management. The grievance is basically, when it comes to grievance, it is kind of a written complaint by a person, right? So let's say there is an employee who is not satisfied with the or having or facing some sort of issues in the organization. So that person escalated this particular one to the your grievance redressal mechanism team आपका. So that is something means there is a there is a conflict between two parties. They one party who generally escalated that particular issue to the management, or both parties escalated that issue to the management. So to manage these kind of conflict or any sort of exploitation of employees, every organization is required to create a grievance employee grievance redressal cell आपका, so which generally help to resolve these kind of issues. The grievance concept आपका, then we have causes and effect, grievance redressal mechanism, conflict आपका, and management dilemma itself, right? So grievance is equal to a written complaint or plus any real or imagined feeling of personal injustice. So this is आपका like Dale Yoder, who generally define as grievance as a written complaint. ठीक है? Or when it comes to Keith Davis, what he said कि it is not only आपका written complaint, a written complaint which is based on any real or imagined feeling. Sometimes what happen, people they generally develop some sort of notion about the things कि like in promotion there is some sort of biasness and that person escalated that issue, maybe that is not right, so that is equal to grievance, right? So grievance is, or it can be written or आपका any mention also. So real world example, an employee feel a grievance when overlooked for a promotion despite meeting all criteria due to आपका due to this they allege the favorism and all. Okay, so sometimes this happen, like we feel ki we deserve this particular thing, maybe someone else also, right? So based on that feeling itself, it creates some sort of grievance. So organization, they must have, they should have some sort of places where to resolve these kind of issues. So management oriented, it is attributable directly to management action and interactions आपका, like delays in salary and आपका delays in salary disbursement. So this is a grievance related to management. Employee oriented, so core आपका area related to individual employee psychology, behavior or perception. आपका an employee perceive their assigned workload is unfair, ठीक है? So this is something which is related to management or organization. This is something related to your employee. When it comes to union related core concept arising from political or आपका organizational friction with the labor, within labor आपका representatives. So inter union or intra union rivalries आपका which generally disturb the areas, ठीक है? Grievances in transfer order, yes, it can be. And this is a kind of a case, like sometime when there is a, like there is some sort of, the transfer cases are mostly happen in this case आपका, right? And or the consequences can be transfer after some time if you complain about your आपका reportee person and all, right? Or the work positioning and all, so people they can see, means this is something kind of a protection of the employees, those who are part of the organization. So the standard grievance redressal flow. So how we should deal with this? Listen means open communication channel to understand perspective with empathy. Then empathize, acknowledge the real or imagined feeling involved in that particular one. Then आपका decide, utilize shift decision making authority कि this is a real or imaginary grievance आपका, right? So then we have communicate आपका, right? So immediate communication of the finalized decision to the employees. Then आपका appeal, provide formal appeal and review mechanism if dissatisfaction persists in that particular case itself. So HR resolve an employee complaint within 3 days and explicitly outline the appeal option. That is something what we generally expect. So it is something which is generally part of the conflict, right? Now, what is conflict? Conflict is something like it is a clash of idea, right? It is a clash between two. Let's say there is a clash between leader and subordinate, right? Leader and subordinate, branch manager and आपका employee. Branch manager said you have to do this by this way. Subordinate is saying कि no, this is not a right way to do this job. There are something else. So there is a clash between these two people, and it is a natural part of the human being interaction. So when that is called interactionist view, right? When two human beings will interact with each others, they are having a different set of personality trait. So these thoughts are a differentiation in personality and all, that will create differentiation in opinion or their perception, how they see the world. So that creates some sort of clashes. So that clash is called your आपका conflict. So sources of friction or this conflict is status आपका in congruence, status related areas or highly competitive environment, especially among the team up salesperson and others. We are comparing people and also people get frustrated. Value system आपका differences, each and everyone is having a different value set, cultural norms and all, और inadequate communication आपका, ठीक है? Leader is have not given a clear idea to that person what he has to do. By the end आपका he is saying कि you did not did this kind of things. So that is creating a unnecessary sort of issues and all. So now when it comes to conflict, it is, we have two views around the conflict. One is like it can have advantages as well as आपका disadvantages. If you remember that ABFM now, ABFM or ABM, somewhere we have discussed this. So traditional view says कि conflict is always negative. It should be suppressed, right? मतलब in every situation, conflict is negative. Whoever is conflicting the existing belief system, that person should get आपका suppressed or punished for that. But this thought does not work in today's आपका environment. Today's it is human centric, and we generally work around the idea innovation, and ideas and innovation, they generally come from the when we challenge the existing belief system, right? So today's world or today's businesses, they generally see conflict as a positive force, right? But for that one, we have to manage this particular one very well. So conflict can have positive or आपका negative. It is depend on the management, how you are dealing or how you handling those particular one, right? So it can be basically positive. It can be constructive also, which modern management आपका suggests. It is reconciliation of interest and differences, improve sense of identity, interaction and clarity, increase trust and productivity, आपका cement the unity of team. It is only possible when it is well managed or when it is आपका balance. Huh? So there is a conflict between these two parties. There maybe this is imaginary or maybe this is आपका real. If you having a team, conflict management team आपका, right? So this manager or person who is negotiating with both the parties, clearing their doubt and coming to a solution, it can be win-win or it can be win-lose. Even the losing party, if they are getting proper explanation कि why they are wrong, they will आपका able to understand that they able to develop understanding and build these kind of areas. But negative effect is आपका, if there is no one is managing these one, they'll start fighting for small issues. It will create some workplace chaos and others, right? Escalation of major conflict, माइनर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इनटू मेजर डिस्प्यूट, छोटी छोटी चीज़ों में फिर लड़ना शुरू कर लेंगे. इंक्रीज इन टोटल नंबर ऑफ इश्यूज आपका डिबेट, ठीक है. सो नाउ लाइक देयर विल बी सम सॉर्ट ऑफ राइवलरी इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. आपका अपसर्ज हिडन इंटरेस्ट आपका सरफेसिंग एग्रेसिवली, ब्रेकिंग एंड स्ट्रीमिंग ऑफ लॉन्ग टर्म आपका रिलेशनशिप. तो पीपल विल नॉट हैव अ रिलेशनशिप, interpersonal relationship and all. There will be some sort of issues in this. So positive effect also there, negative is also there. Modern management theories, they work around the positive things. They generally say कि we should have a proper management of conflict, and if you constructively manage conflict, it can help you or help your organization to evolve. Now this is something they have asked this question in your ABM, ABFM or not. Ralph Thomas and Kilman matrix. So this is something, the only model around the conflict management. Whenever you will study the conflict, na, like this is the topmost choice. I also know only model when we teach for UPSC RBI also. This is the only model we use आपका there also, right? So we have Thomas Kilman आपका, it is Ralph Thomas and Kilman. They come up with this model. They have, we can have 5 type of. I guess they have asked one. They should have asked one question. If not, they'll definitely ask in आपका HRM. So we have 5 type of settlement or negotiation or to these conflicting parties. One is आपका avoiding. It is based on the assertiveness and the cooperativeness. So the parties who involve in that conflict, so it is आपका assertiveness and cooperativeness, 2 elements आपका which are the part of this one. Okay. Grievance in transfer order. Okay. Chalo. Then high chances related to this. So when it comes to these 2 areas, so Thomas and Kilman matrix. So what they said is that there are 5 type of आपका conflict resolution. One is avoiding. Avoiding is that suppressing, lose-lose situation, withdrawing from or आपका sidestepping the conflict, low aggressiveness, low cooperative. We are even not giving any sort of आपका importance to that conflicting parties. Then first one is avoiding. The opposite we have आपका accommodating. We are generally, like, let's say there is a leader, there is a subordinate. In this case आपका we are not listening what if there is, even if there is any sort of escalation and all, we are not entertaining those. In case of accommodating, what we are doing, leader and subordinate come up with some idea ki sir, this is the new way, we should do this particular job by this way. Leader is saying okay, go for this. So leader is आपका kind of giving up their own आपका areas, and it is a win for the subordinate, right? So yielding to the other party's concern, low assertiveness and high cooperativeness is the case. Then we have आपका competing leader subordinate went with idea, sub leader said no, you do this by this way only. So it's again win lose आपका parallelism here, ठीक है? So leader is winning and आपका subordinate is losing. Then compromise, it is a lose-lose situation for both the parties. In this one, both the parties giving away few areas, right? And what we want to achieve, that is your आपका collaboration. Collaborating is basically a win-win situation where both the parties are आपका getting benefited from that particular one, right? So Ralph Kilman and Thomas, they come up with these 5 different approaches to deal with the conflict thing itself, right? You got this one, guys? Any doubt around this? Okay, there is one chart आपका. This is the one. Please go through this one. Actually, this is from आपका. There is one chart which is given in your book. The same thing which we have highlighted here. You can go with your book also or that one, right? So let's go with the book things only. So first one is collaborating, okay? So it is आपका the circumstances of a particular situation where collaborating will be the best approach. This is visible, right? Collaborating, this is the first, when concern are too important for compromise, when no party has a good solution, when complete resolution are needed and eliminate आपका leftover negative feelings, when the long-term relationship and outcome are important. So that is आपका collaboration. So we are generally trying to create a win-win situation between both the parties. This is your first case, right? The second one is आपका compromise, where it can be done when the goal of outcome of conflict is not worth the time and energy required for collaboration, when a quick and temporary आपका expedient settlement is acceptable, when collaborating does not work out and conflict can be otherwise resolved, when the outcome is not crucial and you are losing time, right? This is first what we want to achieve, आपका collaborating. But if collaborating is not possible, we can go for compromise, basically the quick decision and others, where both the parties owning the equal contribution in the goal and others. That is the case. The third one, we have accommodating, where we are giving up, one party is giving up to others. So it is आपका, when it comes to this, so it is when one party has आपका resultatory better solution, when the issue involved are considerably more important to one party, when continued आपका competition could damage the relationship, when you really don't care a lot about the outcome but want to preserve or build the relationship. Okay, that is आपका accommodating will be. Again, it is a situation of lose win, right? The basically subordinate the other party, which is generally winning the argument. The third one is competing. It is a win-lose team. So where as a manager, you are saying, no, you have to do this by this way, right? When quick decision actions are required or any sort of emergency, right? When the need of the other party is less or not important in this. Avoiding आपका, when the issue is trivial and it is better to postpone, or you don't have a great concern about the outcome itself. When there is no possibility of either setting resolve this, and when there will be a potential damage to the organization. Okay, so these are generally defined under these particular areas also. So this is the chart also, right? So you can go through these particular ones that will help you, right? So now let's start the practice. First question on your screen, guys. Just after this practice, we will take a 5-minute break. Then the remaining two topic. Huh? So grievance procedures are commonly include collective bargaining agreements as a part of industrial relation system. Hot stove rule आपका is a disciplinary action, emphasis on immediate, आपका constant and impersonal consequences rule itself. This is आपका hot stove we miss किया, or this was part of that one. McGraw आपका there is a Abraham Maslow's or something hot stove one. It will come, guys. ठीक है, this hot stove rule आपका ना, it will come, हाँ. It will come. Next topic I am checking. It was somewhere. Macro. Huh, it will come in the last unit. Huh? We will be discussing this. So this the आपका Douglas McGraw hot stove theory आपका, right? How it impact the negotiation and parties and all. So it will come. Okay. The hot stove rule is a disciplinary action which is आपका emphasis on immediate. Discipline should be आपका imposed immediate, constant, impersonal. It should be like if anybody put आपका hand on the stove, it will treat everyone equally. That is something which is the meaning of this impersonal consequences for rule violation. This is true. Third one is आपका Douglas McGraw was the person behind this. He come up with the 4 areas आपका कि how we should maintain that discipline. Hot stove rule it is called. So according to Maslow's hierarchy of need, safety need is included job security. This is 100% true, right? The next one, informal grievance resolution, is discouraged in modern human resource management practices. No, it is not आपका wrong. This is incorrect. An ombudsman system can function as independent mechanism for addressing employee grievances, right? So 1 2 3 5, 1 2 3 5, 1 2 3 5 means option C will be right answer for this particular one, right? So option C is the correct answer. Informal grievance resolution is actually encouraged in many modern organizations. Mukul Kumar sir, PDF are not in module B, C, D. ठीक है? I have uploaded all the module, Mukul sir. Mukul sir, you only texted me on application, क्या? So it is available for all the module. DE we are doing. Though concept PDF are already there. Concept PDF I have already uploaded, and in free section or even in course also you can check. And we are doing D today. So you will just after this session you'll get this particular one also. Abhijit sir, there is nothing called आपका immediate, right? So this will take आपका 2 or 3 hours. Huh? So it will take 2-3 hours to get auto updated. Okay. It will take 3-4 hours, huh? Because it is auto generated. It is not in my hand. So what you can do, you can watch on the YouTube itself, right? So the first one is आपका when it comes to this one, work committee are mandated under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 in the industrial attachment employing 100 or more. This is आपका from the prior to prior unit or first unit आपका. International Labour Organization ILO, International Labour Organization, promote grievance handling system aligned with the principle of freedom of association and collective bargaining. This is also true. Third one is the concept of an ombudsman originated in Sweden and widely adopted both public and private organization grievance. This is originated from Sweden only. Please do remember this. Huh? Sometimes these small point also they can ask. The Industrial Dispute Act 1947 mandate a uniform three-tier grievance redressal mechanism for all private sector. No, we have आपका stages. ISO 45001 standard occupational health and safety. It is related to health and safety mechanism of the workers consultation participation in this. This is also true. So 1235. 1235 means option B will be right answer. Please do remember these one. There is no universal statutory requirement under the Industrial Dispute Act. ISO, this please do remember this statement and this Sweden point. They were missing from the, I guess they should be somewhere, but from our discussion they are missing. So promote workers' participation and structured communication channel, which commonly include grievance and complaint handling system itself, right? Next one. This is bit important. Mukul sir, can you ping me on application? I'll share you the pathway. I guess you are going somewhere wrong. Just after this session, please ping me on आपका application. So I'll share a pathway how you can get those one. Which of the following statement regarding conflict management and resolution approaches are correct? The first, Thomas Kelman conflict mode instrument identify 5 distinct conflict handling style based on the assertiveness and cooperativeness. First statement is 100% true. In arbitration, the decision of the third party is typically non-binding. Arbitration, it should be right. So the court system and all, right? आपका the party who is decision maker in that one, both two parties, and the third party decision is applicable to both, right? The collaborating style in conflict management reflect high assertiveness and collaborating आपका high assertiveness, high आपका cooperativeness, yes. Next one is mediation involve a natural third party, neutral third party who facilitate negotiation but does not impose a decision. Yes, mediation is true, but arbitration is third party decision are applicable. The avoiding style is characterized by low assertiveness, low assertiveness and low आपका cooperativeness, right? So this should be wrong. So 134 means option A will be right answer for this. अच्छा D is also same क्या? Sorry हाँ. A or D whatever you take, not B आपका, right? Elvin sir, option A will be right answer for this one. So arbitration generally binding, and when it comes to mediation which is advisory. Avoiding is आपका low assertiveness and low cooperativeness. Next one guys, you can आपका just start reading this one, right? So you do not have to go through the entire story. So Thomas Kelman आपका, it is behavior of two dimension, 100% true. Just now we have gone through this, right? The second one is Blake and Motion managerial grid. Yesterday only, I guess, or day before yesterday. It is developed to measure leadership style based on concern for production and आपका concern for people. 100% true. There are 5 type of leaders आपका: improvise, middle of the road, team management, country club and आपका task manager. In Thomas Kelman framework, collaborating style is आपका collaboration is high assertiveness, आपका high cooperativeness. ठीक है. Low is your avoiding. So this is wrong. This is आपका avoiding. The compromising style is generally regarded as a strategy, mutually optimized, win-win. No, it is आपका lose-lose situation. When it comes to आपका compromise, both the parties are giving something, right? Losing something. The avoiding style is associated with low assertiveness and low cooperativeness. Yes, this is true, right? तो 1 2 आपका 5, 1 2 5 means option C will be right answer for this particular one. Got it guys? This is something आपका which is bit important here that can be asked in your examination, so please be prepared for this. Next one. Okay, now we have workers participation management. Again very small unit. 18 one is very small, 19 one is आपका bigger one, right? So now just allow me आपका 5 minute. We will generally आपका resume this session just after the 5 minute, huh? And we will be continuing the discussion around this particular one. Okay, so 5 minute guys, then we will start आपका resume this particular one. Hello, 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 hello. So, shall we start, guys? Shall we start? So, when it comes to the next topic, it is workers' participation in management, right? So, worker participation means what is this all topic is all about? Ki worker plus management, right? This is all about worker plus management. So, how we can collectively achieve the goal, or we can create a win-win situation for both आपका, that is this all topic is about, right? So we have participation or different types, methods of participation, banking experiences in आपका worker participation in management itself. So it is all about the areas which generally comes under this particular one is आपका mental and emotional आपका involvements plus shared responsibility is equal to true participation, which organization is expecting from the employees itself. Now, आपका when it comes to the areas, a win-win situation where worker contribute to group goal and decision are implemented easily based on the आपका consensus of both the parties, whether it is management or आपका the employees itself. So participation, it is a social process, active joint decision making and thinking in a term of we. So we are working as a we means employee plus employers. Consent, when it comes to, it is आपका passive approvals, we getting an okay for something already decided, thinking in term of आपका I. So worker participation management is crystallization of industrial democracy, binding employee into a team working toward a common objective. So this is kind of what we generally trying to do or trying to achieve with this particular one, a win-win situation. Okay. So where employees are also happy and like, or whatever issues it is, right, or any decision which we are making at the organization level, so there is a active involvement from the employees itself, or there is, or organization is providing an opportunity to the employees so they can actively participate in that particular one itself, right? So that is something what generally comes under this. So organizational effectiveness, the three sphere of the worker impacting decision. First one is economic decision, focus on financial and operational stability. Method of आपका manufacturing, automation, shutdown, layoff or mergers. Personal decision आपका focus career life cycle and conflict resolution, recruitment, selection, promotion, आपका demotions or transfer or grievance settlements. Social, day to day all well-beings and working condition, hour of work, welfare measurements, safety, आपका protocols, sanitation, noise control and others. So that is something how it generally comes. If you'll go for the book also now, same thing you'll see in आपका detailed paragraph. There is no point of going through those particular one. So participation, conflict and आपका definition type, the areas, economic decision, person and social. When it comes to the other one, ठीक है. So they are related to informative participation. This we will be discussing with the new आपका this one, ठीक है. So this part आपका we will be discussing with the new slide. Very simple one. So please do not waste your time around this particular one. You can, I'll be keeping these particular thing in PDF. If you want to relate, you can. Otherwise, these mind maps are more than enough for this. Okay. So when it comes to spectrum of participation, shifting balance of power, it include areas like informative participation. So like the step one, which is share basic information sharing, like balance sheet, production schedules and others with the employees or workmen. When it comes workers, consultative participation, joint council considering welfare, safety, but management retain आपका final decision making power in case of these particular one, but they are taking input or insight from the your workers or employees. Then we have associative participation. Management actively implement the recommendations made by the joint council in आपका defined areas. That is the another one. Then we have administrative participation. Council select from a few management provided alternatives. The jointly chosen alternative is accepted in that particular case. Okay? So there are few suggestions from management, few suggestions from employees, and those who are common, we are accepting those particular one, implementing those one. Then after decisive participation, ultimate level. So decisions are taken jointly on the primary matters like production or welfare things. So basically the participation which is आपका related to these particular some like information participation we are disclosing to all. Consultative, where we are consultative means we are taking consultation from the people but final say is to management. Associative आपका joint together democracy kind of. Administrative related to administrative areas. Decisive आपका participation decision jointly making by the primary matters like or some defined matters like production, welfare and other areas which generally comes under this one. Now value proposition, why worker participation management matter for the organization. It reduce the resistance when employee involved in the decision making, they feel more आपका valued, right? So that reduce the resistance. They are having a clear idea around the things what we are going to do. So lower confrontation labels help the organization to adopt new methods and changes because they also get involved कि how to solve that particular problem. Okay, there is a problem, right? We are discussing that problem with the people, so they are coming up with ideas. So there will be आपका we will be able to break the employee resistance during the change itself, right? Then open communication, the another one, right? So it is something key employee when they anybody, right? When you feel being heard, you feel motivated. So clear channel of upward and downward communication, reduce especially upward communication. Why especially upward? Because upward communication are related to reporting feedbacks and others where lower staff they can raise their concern. So reduce the distortion of the implemented decision, boost productivity. So this way we are increasing their morale that will lead to higher productivity. Joint decision making reduce the dispute, directly increase unit productivity and efficiency. And people when they get involved in decision making, they feel more आपका kind of responsible whatever decision they have made, right? So then we have eliminate dispute also, block आपका outsiders, prevent outside intervention and misleading of workers by external policy forces. It spark the creativity also because now many brains are working, so that will help you to increase the overall outcome itself, right? So here we have the different committees, basically three major committees आपका. First one is work committee which is as per the ID Act 1947. ठीक है? So it is Industrial Dispute Act 1947. Threshold is if workers are 100 plus, maximum 20 members uh, of work committee. It is level of operation, soft floors or department level. Core function, MET and good relation, advisory only. They are helping management. Basically, this is the related to work committee is something. It is kind of when you are having 100 plus employees. So we are creating a work committee with 20 people, up maximum 20 people at this level, and they are helping in these particular areas, advising organization. Weaknesses again that inter-union rivalry or perceived conflict with trade union objectives and others. Then the Joint Management Council, it originated in 1958 when we have 500 plus workers, maximum 12 members आपका voluntary. It is planet level policy framing, consultative forum with shared information. Weaknesses lack adequate support, remain stuck at the consultative stage only. Joint Consultative Committee 75 and 84, 500 plus workers, manufacturing, mining. Two tier आपका SOP council and joint council. Efficiency, waste elimination, productivity norms. These are the core function or decision making areas. And when it comes to the critiques of this particular one, so this is something often implemented solely due to government compulsion itself, right? So these three committees basically you'll, if you'll open your book, you'll see 4, 75 and 84, but this is आपका rectification in 75 only, right? Like if you'll see the list, आपका it is something like this. Next one we have nowadays आपका workers director. So in that eventually the ultimate decision is generally made by the board of directors. Board of director is responsible for the activities. So now what we are doing, we are including आपका workers director, appointing a workers director in the board of director who, which will आपका take care around these particular people. So we are like, we have independent director, you remember that one, independent director who generally take care around the minorities interest, especially the minority shareholders and all. Similarly here also we are having a workers directors on the board. So we are expecting, assuming that person will take care around the आपका interest of workers. So initiated in public sector undertaking like STM, LIC and nationalized bank आपका, when it comes to representative of the majority union is appointed as a worker director with full board आपका right itself. So when it comes to multiplicity of unions, appointment trigger आपका confrontation and membership verification challenges, और आपका floating apex problem, it is participation is ensured at highest level but often lacks supporting structure at a soft floor आपका level, rendering it आपका particularly ineffective. This is something key. When they become part of this particular one, they are considering at the top level itself, because board is something which is making the strategic decision. So sometimes we miss out the flow level problems and all. So that is something which is generally part of this particular one, right? Then apart from this, we have आपका quality circles. So origin in Japan 1960. Structure 7 to 10 people form the same work area, meeting आपका regularly. Pros आपका solve the technical problem, improve the analytical skills and high saving to cost ratio. So this is something key, like example like Mahindra and Mahindra Jeep division and all. So we are creating like in a, like let's say in a line 1,000 people are working, we have created a group of 7 to 10 people as a quality circles. So they are आपका resolving the problems within that particular circle itself. Con आपका trade unions view them as a overburdening, must have a definite short life circle, require massive management commitment also. The another part, ESOP. ठीक है, ESOP आपका employee stock option. So with employee stock options, what we are trying to do, we are basically, ESOPs is basically, this is usually done by the unlisted companies. In case of listed companies, it is sweat equity, right? So what they are doing, they are providing some sort of stake to the employees in the organization. They are making them as a owner of that particular business at a discounted rate, right? So it started from America, highly popular in Indian IT companies, aapka, even startup also. Nowadays, they generally follow these particular one. Right to purchase share at a predetermined discounted price after the vesting period. Purpose is primarily used to arrest high attrition rate, means like we generally use aapka ESOPs for the retention purpose, right? So that like those who are high performing, if obviously they'll be demanding high increments in salaries and others. So what we are doing, we with this particular ESOPs, after offering them ESOPs, we are making them owner of the business. We are allocating some set of shares. If you work for like it is company to company 3 years or 5 years, you can encash those particular, or at the time of listing you will be getting a higher benefit and all, right? The financial participation aligning workers wealth with the company valuation itself, right? ESOP was the last topic in this one. So it is something this overall areas. So the major one when it comes to the benefit of this particular one, this is kind of a summary of the entire unit, which is something like this, right? So union apprehension, management hesitations, we generally solve this particular one with the worker participation management and all. So that is something in a summarized way also. Now let's go through some question. Abhijit sir, you got the link or should I paste it here? Abhijit sir is here kya? If you are here, please do let me know. So I'll help you. I guess yesterday also I have shared a link with you. So you can, if you'll go through that particular link now, you'll directly you'll directly get that particular session. Huh? Actually on app it is something which take up a processing time. For 4 hour video it will take at least 3 hours or something. So, the situation related to workers' participation in management. So, there are five situations given. Then, which of the following correctly identify the nature of participation reflect in the above situation? Okay, so you have to go through all these particular one. So, a manufacturing company constituted a joint forum where workers were regularly informed about the production schedule, inventory shortage, and quarterly financial performance. However, employee had no right either to advise or influence managerial decision through the forum itself, right? So it is आपका informative participation. It is आपका informative participation, right? It was categorized under the informative participation. That chart we have gone through now. The second one is a pharmaceutical unit. Management constituted a committee of workers representative to discuss the safety measure, sanitation standard, and welfare facilities. The committee could deliberate and recommend measure, but implementation decision remain with the ACA management. The second approach, which was part of that particular one, is means this pharmaceutical unit, the people which generally consultative, right? So this is up, they are up to consultative. Next one, in automobile plant management circular circulated three alternative shift restructuring model before a joint labor management council. The council selected one alternative for implementation, though it had no role in the framing the alternative themselves. Okay. Automobile management circulated three alternative. This is, I guess, this choices one आपका the selected one alternative for implementation, though it has no role in the framing the alternative themselves. Okay, we'll check the third statement. In textile undertaking, a labor management council jointly determine the productivity link incentive. Just a minute, I'll go through statement 3 once again. It, this is called आपका administrative, right? This should be administrative, guys. This is आपका third one is administrative, right? So alternative, because they are just आपका, they do not have any role, so they're just doing administrative job in this one. The fourth one आपका in textile undertaking आपका a labor management council jointly determine the productivity link decision scheme and worker आपका welfare measure. Both side आपका sharing responsibility for the implementation of this. Decisive आपका, right, we have decisive decisive participation. Fourth one should be आपका your decisive participative, right? Fifth one, and engineering company management finalize a retrenchment proposal internally and subsequently obtain signature from the union represent merely to demonstrate employee constructive before the implementation and all, right? So it is आपका in engineering company management finalized a retrenchment proposal internally and subsequently obtained signature from the union. So they are not having any participation in this particular one. Okay, they are just आपका doing the signature and all, right? So आपका the consent हाँ, this consent part can be the case in this particular one. So they are just taking a consent, right? Now up you have to match this one. What you guys suggesting? Alvin sir, Shreyas sir is saying option C. Rani ma'am is also saying option C. So option C, first reflect the informative participation. This is our informative participation. Two, reflect the consultative. Third and fourth are not given. Fifth one is given as a consent. Huh. This is the other are not matching. Huh? One is consultative, no. Two is informative. Two is consultative, wrong hai. Fourth one is two is associative. No. So option C will be right answer for this one, right? Yes, very good guys, well done. So there was one chart आपका, right? The chart which we have gone through. So please do remember this particular one, right? The participation. This question was based around this particular chart itself, which we have gone through, right? And I guess this is the only or the committee wala part. The another important area from this particular one is the committee proportion in others, right? Okay. Third one. There was one, two, three, four. Third and four is workers are selecting among the alternative. They are administrative role. Yes, administrative only na. Third one is administrative. Fourth one is decisive. Fourth one is आपका joint decision making welfare about this responsibility is decisive participation. Okay, so please do remember all these particular one. Next one. So five statement you have to match आपका this statement with the first one, right? We will quickly go through this. So the consultation of 24 member work committee may be inconsistent with the statutory requirement relating to committee आपका composition. A work committee with 24 total members was constituted. 2000 आपका 400 workers we have in this particular one. तो 200 हाँ, तो it is आपका 20 members ना. So repeated production delays in this to manufacturing division to improve the participation in this. आपका 24 total members was constituted. Several issue relating to wage revision collective in this. So the constitution of 24 member work committee may be inconsistent with the statutory requirement because it was आपका 20, right? The maximum 20 आपका, so it was maximum 20 members. Okay, so it was maximum 20 members. The second statement, the issue referred by the management to the work committee may extend beyond the intended functional scope. The second one is a joint committee council was voluntarily created at planet level with equal representation from the management and workers, but it mainly function as a consultative body for the policy implementation decision. The issue referred to the management to work committee may extend beyond this. So second one is also correct. Third one आपका the role assigned to planet level joint management council reflect आपका consultative. Workman, third one, workman director, no. Third statement is about this one only, that is true. For the challenge raised by the आपका rival union case is what? Shop council, workman directors majority meeting board of this, right? And this union, sorry, huh. So the fourth statement is related to third here. So a workman director nominated from the majority union attended all board meeting with voting right identical to others directors. Workman directors, though a rival union challenge the membership verification process before a tribunal. So the challenge raised by the rival union may relate to the process appointment of this one. True hai, this point was mentioned in the discussion itself. The continued management versus workers attitude may indicate limitation of board participation without adequate soft floor integration. Despite board level participation, employee at soft floors level continue displaying a strong management versus worker. हाँ, this is all are correct guys. Means आपका option A should be right answer for this particular one, right? So option A should be correct answer. All the statement which are given with reference to 5 different cases or with reference to your आपका areas which are generally part of आपका, I'll show you that chart also, right? So this is आपका, ठीक है. So these were the chart or the different type of areas or the participation, they are correct, huh? Next one guys. It's these are a bit heavy question actually. Okay, so a large automobile manufacturing company facing a rising attrition and a recurring quality complaint introduced multiple worker participation initiatives simultaneously across its plant. The management enter into periodic negotiation with the recognized union regarding the productivity. They offer ESOP also and quality circle, right? So quality circle and ESOP. After 2 years, the companies. So first, the statement and आपका these are the situation. So first one, the nature of union negotiation reflect limitation of collective bargaining as a strong form of worker participation. Negotiation with union frequently turn आपका adversarial with both side attempting or maximizing bargaining advantages during wage settlement. The nature of union negotiation reflect limitation of collective bargaining as a from strong form of worker participation. Negotiation with union frequently turn adversarial with both side attempt or maximize bargaining advantages during the wage settlement. The nature of union, this should be correct then, right? The decline in several QCs may indicate lack of sustained managerial commitment toward the implementation and feedback itself. Several QC initially solve production bottleneck, but may many circle later become आपका inactive. Employee felt आपका management ignore these particulars. Second one is also correct. Third one, conduct of worker representative reflected role conflict limitation in participative management structure. Worker representative appointed to joint consultative council often oppose automation proposal initially despite supporting them during the board level. The conduct of worker representative reflect role conflict. Yes, this is also correct. The fourth one is आपका basically initially they were presenting आपका employees when the board meeting having they start supporting board itself, right? So this is आपका a case of role conflict. The next one is the response generated through the suggestion portal reflected participation aimed at operational improvement. The employee suggestion portal generated thousands of proposal process simplification in this. This is true. Fifth one is the retention pattern. The retention pattern amongst software engineering engineers suggests that ESOP benefit become available immediately upon a grant of option. ESOP retention benefit were visible mainly among the software engineer and design specialist who remain with the company until completion of vesting period. The retention pattern among software engineers suggests that ESOP benefit become available immediately. No, it is not immediate आपका, it is after the vesting period. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 means option D will be right answer for this particular one, right? थोड़ा सा lengthy statement था, right? I can understand. Now next one. Okay, now next one we have last unit, which is employee discipline. So discipline management, very simple one. The only thing is आपका which you have to go through, that is POS Act, right? I guess in bank also they conduct the POS training, right? So that POS training, whatever the guidelines there is, though we do not take those trainings seriously, but the areas which are generally part of this one. Okay? So these three: diversity and gender issues, dealing with sexual harassment, and POS Act. Now before that we have discipline management, workplace discipline. So then we have disciplinary rules in bank. We have domestic inquiry, fraud, आपका vigilance, CVC, that is from your ABM itself, right? So let's go through the all the important areas. So when it comes to creation, आपका discipline, positive discipline, right? It is something कि people they believe in the system, they are adopting. Negative discipline is, it is आपका, it can be coercive, ठीक है, where we are, it can be forceful आपका, right? So voluntary concept, acceptance out of आपका conviction, outcome, create a mindset, attitude, आपका leading to team spirit, mutual trust, and highly moral. Manager role, setting an example, praising in public, and आपका reprimanding in private itself. ठीक है, means if you want to आपका tell something negative, just say it in private, and if you want to praise in public आपका, that is the case. Negative discipline is आपका force compliant out of fear punishment. ठीक है, people they are following those particular one because they just want to other the compliances or guidelines. Achieve only minimum आपका adherences, breed आपका resentment. This is something कि आपका like they are doing just sake of tick box things आपका, right? Because if they'll not do this, they'll get punished. But this is positive discipline is something which is related to individual personality. They believe in the system, that's why they are following the areas and all, right? And now for the discipline thing आपका, we have one theory which is very very important, McGraw, Douglas McGraw. You remember this person, that theory X and Y, ठीक है, कि we have two type of people, X people, those who dislike work, Y people, those who like work, they are disciplined in this. So what here again, Douglas McGraw who come up with hot stove theory. Hot stove means they said कि every organization they should have some sort of आपका ground, moral ground, rules regulation around the your disciplinary consequences. कि if you are not following those particular one, the guidelines are same for all, means it's a hot stove. So if anybody who will put hand on this particular stove, it will equally impact the आपका person itself, whether you are a manager, whether you are a subordinate. So that's why it is called hot stove theory, right? So now it is आपका immediacy, means immediately take action. Burnings occur at once. Disciplinary action must have no undue time lag, so link the penalty directly to the violation. Then आपका impartiality, all are same. A stove burn regardless of who touched it. Disciplinary matters demand total impartiality and objective fair play आपका. Then we have consistency. A stove burn every time it आपका it is touched, ठीक है, like when you touch the आपका hot stove, so it will burn every time, right? So similarly here also, managerial follow-up must result in consistent outcome without आपका large variances. The final one is forbearing. forewarning. So just as a stove आपका radiate heat to warm you, so rules and punishment must be clearly communicated to employees in advance, right? So once you'll go to the closer to the आपका stove, you will feel some heat. So that is kind of a warning. So similarly here also what they are saying, you have to create awareness about that particular rules and regulation. Still somebody is touching that particular one, that should get punished after. That is the one. So hot stove theory, which is given by Douglas Macro. I hope this is clear to everyone, guys. If you're having any doubt, please do let me know, right? Then the another part, foundation of fair play, principle of natural justice. So what we generally want with this disciplinary areas, neutrality. So no man should be judged in their own cause. आपका ठीक है. Rule against आपका bias, it should be same. Right to be आपका heard, every person, like if we are taking some sort of disciplinary action against any person, that person first we have to, it is not kind of a one-sided thing. So no one should be आपका condemned unheard, audit आपका alterum patents, so we have to give chance to the other one. Notice employee आपका proceed against must be clearly informed to the extent changes आपका levied against them, whatever आपका the allegations there are or in disciplinary action or charges, they should get notice, evidence and cross examination. So willing आपका witnesses must be examined in the presence of the employees, who must be given chance to cross examine them also. So this is something ki how you are this, you can you see these particular one in mobile, it is fine, I guess. It is very difficult for me to read out. So this is something आपका, so how we are dealing with the fair principle, basically principle of natural justice आपका, which generally comes under in this particular case. Now when it comes to the organization, okay, in bank आपका financial misconduct, fraud in bank, it is like we have आपका mechanism of fraud defined as wrongful or criminal deceptions, international आपका concealment, omission और आपका prevention of truth. Goal is to gain unfair advantages if anyone is doing, induce parting of valuable items or आपका inflict injury. The module आपका C last unit ABM, fraud versus forgery, you remember that one? So that is something, because RBI does not have any defined decision, we follow the आपका CPC, ठीक है. So आपका when it comes to cash shortage, over the counter, sanctioning loan on fraudulent documents or unauthorized आपका advances, these can be the examples which are part of this one. Institutional stance आपका zero tolerance, basically we generally what we expect in banking industry, fraud from 5 to 5 lakh is viewed with the same exact same आपका seriousness. If there is a small fraud or bigger fraud, all should be seen as the same seriousness. The intent is material, not the amount it is. So public versus private sector bank. Public sector bank official are considered public servants. So आपका CBC and CBI scrutiny will be there. Private sector bank fraud lead to swift summary dismissal, through which basic disciplinary procedures are followed by the proper hearing itself. So we have that chief vigilance आपका commission. So constitutional authority acting as a moral आपका guardian of the government activities. Then we have CVO, bank level, senior level officer mandated at the corporate office of all public sector bank. Directors आपका preventive measures, chief vigilance officer. Then we have आपका regional vigilance officer, zonal, and we have आपका like regional. So basically all are same, regional or zonal. Then we have, you remember those line, right? So we have branch, right? Branch. Then we have आपका compliance. Then we have audit, right? So vigilance officer is basically handling these particular one at the different level. Escalation is branch to regional office, RO, right? Or ZMO. Then we have आपका corporate office. So this is something how we are managing all these particular activities. If there is any sort of आपका any sort of आपका indiscipline activities or any sort of fraud is going on. So financial power when it comes to top management, they are having strategy and sanction of the icon of the large amounts. Senior management, regional large branches, label, sanction of loan and advances, both आपका retail and wholesale. Zoom it out. Third one is middle management, large, medium branches, sanction loan in this, and junior management. So these are the different authorities who is handling things at the different level itself, right? So top management, senior, middle, and junior, they are responsible for different activities. CVO, the Central Vigilance Commission. Please go through this one. So establish central government आपका for the all the areas. So CVO, CVC, constitutional authority acting as a moral guardian of the government activities and its servant. Vigilance involve आपका gardening against the potential moral or financial misconduct by the government officials. Central government mandates CVO at a senior level at all public sector undertakings. CVO operate under the CVC administrative control, not bank management. Each regional office or zonal bank must have आपका regional or zonal officer not below chief manager rank under the CVO control at the corporate office. आपका vigilance officer role are and responsibilities are defined by CVC, overseeing the fraud and the cases in the bank itself. Okay, this is something which is a kind of a quick revision related to your ABM things itself, right? Now, this topic is a bit important because there are many guidelines and doable also, right? And it get asked every time. So diversity and gender issues, though it was part of some topic, but still here it is aapka more important, right? So central government has enacted a number of law safeguarding equality of all people in the country of this. Central government institutionalized the public sector bank, equal opportunity employees. So आपका there is no any sort of discrimination between men and women or male and female. So statutory compliances, we have POS Act to deal with this particular one. We have POS Act 2013 also. So universal protection, the act protect all women irrespective of age or employment status. The this cover regular, temporary, daily wage, contract or probationers, interns and women of in the unorganized sector. Okay? So any sort of employment which generally आपका to which employees or women employees it provide the protection. आपका workplace definition extend far beyond the traditional office. It include branches, means any post related activities in branches, transportation provided by the employer, sports complexes, expressly applies to employees आपका work from home also. ठीक है, तो it is also applicable to work from home activities. Defining the sexual harassment include physical connect, advances, demand or request for sexual favor, sexually colors remark, आपका showing pornography or any unwelcoming physical and verbal or non-verbal contact. आपका circumstantial harassments include the implied or explicit promise of the preferential treatment, threat regarding the employment status, creating an intimidating offense or hostile work environment. So these are the activities which generally get covered under this particular. So basically, when it comes to sexual harassment, this generally include आपका these many areas itself, right? Now, POS Act. So when it comes to the POS Act itself, so Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. It was passed in Lok Sabha in 2012. एंड आपका 2013 एंड presidential ascent आपका 2013 and it become effective from 9th of December 2013 itself. So supersede the Vishakha guidelines addressing sexual harassment at workplace within 36% of Indian companies, 25% of MNCs non-compliant as per Rafiki EY report itself. Define sexual harassment at the workplace and establish redressal mechanism safeguarding against false and malicious charges also. Cover आपका sexual harassment if it occur in connection with an act or behavior of sexual harassment. Provide wider protection to all women irrespective of age, employment, including आपका organized, unorganized sector, public sector and all. Expand workplace आपका, ठीक है, including work from home, bank, organization, hospital, educational institutions, sports, any other places आपका, which is generally part of this. Require a committee to investigate the complaint within 90 days with the employer or the district mandating action within 60 days. So 90 days committee आपका and action within 60 days. Mandate every employer with 10 plus employee to form internal complaint committee, which is called ICC. So internal complaint committee, we will be discussing about this in detail with आपका district officer forming local committee at आपका district or block level. Committee have power to civil code for evidence gathering and must attempt आपका conciliation if requested by the complaint before initiating inquiry itself, right? So please go through these date and others. It was amended in 2016 internal committee आपका internal complaint committee to internal committee. It is known as internal committee, and local complaint committee to local committee. So we changed the name. Now it is called IC and this is आपका local committee. So the role of sexual harassment committee, internal committee, is expanded beyond the complaint resolution to include prevention and other duties. Internal committee responsibilities include आपका creating a zero tolerance culture against the sexual harassment, training employees, manager and committee to identify and address such behavior, practicing an open door policy to encourage questions and clarify doubts, being proactive to ensure a safe and secure conducive workplace. I guess these are clear, huh? This is something आपका the guidelines only, huh? So the amendment enhance IC role, amplifying the free of harassment workplace relevant to across metros, tier and other particular one, which is generally part of this one. So IC is bit important here, right? When it comes to IC, internal committee, so we have preceding officer आपका must be a women employed at a senior level at the workplace from among the employees. Then we have employee members, minimum 2 members आपका committed to in the cause of आपका women with legal social work experience. Employee members, तो employee members आपका 2 members and 1 external member is also there. Employer and employee should be right. So external member आपका 1 member from an NGO or an association committed to cause of women in this or any agency itself, right? Statutory consent, not less than 50% of IC member must be women, ठीक है? So like let's say 10, तो downside 55 आपका should be women or more than that. Statutory consent, the IC members shall not exceed आपका 3 years, ठीक है? So their membership will for 3 years. Statutory constraint आपका minimum 3 members of the IC, including preceding officer, must be present to conduct an inquiry. Whenever we are conducting any inquiry, these three must be, at least 3% must be there, right? So these are the areas, the provision, guidelines and others which is related to this. Post timelines आपका, post inquiry timelines 3 months, आपका written complaint 6 copies filled in 3 months of the incident, 3 months आपका maximum time duration. Then we have 7 days notice, 1 copy of the complaint sent to the respondent upon the receipt of complaint within 3 months. Let's say the IC received the complaint, so within 7 days they'll be sending a notice to the आपका respondent. Then within 10 working days, respondent must submit आपका reply with supporting documents, right? Then आपका 90 days total. So the IC inquiry must be entirely completed from the date of receipt within 90 days. Then आपका 10 days inquiry report must be issued post आपका completion. 60 days employer must act upon the recommendation of IC. 90 days आपका allowed from the date of the final recommendation itself, right? So this is something from here to here. Mean here to here आपका also 90 days maximum. So these timelines are a bit important. Sometimes they ask question around these particular one. So please do remember these particular one. Okay. Then आपका enforcement, compensation and penalties, IC power. So internal committee possess the same power as civil code under the code of civil procedure to 1908. This include आपका summoning attendance under the oath and requiring a discovery and production of document itself. So they are having power, punishment and compensation, disciplinary action aligned with sexual service rule, आपका written apology, reprimand और आपका withholding promotion, termination or community. These kind of decision can be made by आपका IC itself. Compensation calculation based on mental trauma, loss of career opportunity, medical आपका this of the complainer. Recovery, unpaid compensation can be recovered as area of land review by the आपका district officer itself. Institutional penalties, first offense failure to constitute an IC, discharge statutory duties, आपका 50,000 फाइन. रिपीटेड आपका कंट्रावेंशन और सेकेंड ऑफेंस लीड टू आपका डबल द फाइन और सर्व action such as आपका cancellation of employer business license or registration itself. So that is something which generally comes under this particular one. Okay, so I'll highly recommend these particular one, guys, though they are like something you have to go through these particular one once and twice. They'll help you to आपका in your upcoming examination. Okay, let's practice the question. So which of the following statement are correct in the context of workplace discipline? So discipline is considered effective only when employee comply due to fear. No. We have positive and negative both, right? Positive, this is आपका negative discipline. This is about the negative discipline. Public criticism of employee for misconduct is consistent with sound of disciplinary action. Yes, आपका means something wrong with that person. Public criticism of employee for misconduct is consistent with the sound. It is not a disciplinary action actually. It will attract a discipline. Public criticism of employee for आपका misconduct is consistent with the sound disciplinary principle. No, this is not आपका part of the disciplinary principles, right? It is public. So then when it get escalated or आपका reported, this should be wrong, huh? We will recheck this. Which one it is? This. Immediate disciplinary response to misconduct is one of the key of hot stove आपका McGraw. Yes. Positive discipline contribute to team spirit, mutual respect, higher employee morale. Yes. Consistency and impartiality are essential. They are also part of the hot stove आपका theory itself, right? So 3 4 5 means option B should be right answer. Yes. Statement 2, sound disciplinary practices require employees should be praised publicly. आपका disciplinary one आपका ना that's sorry I also missed this one. ठीक है. When you are praising it is publicly. When there is any sort of आपका complaint and all, it should be in privacy and others, right? So this is the case. Sorry I missed this one. B will be right answer for this. Very good guys. Next one. A senior officer in public sector bank sanctioned a consortium credit proposal under serve time pressure to prevent the migration of the large corporate accounts to competing bank आपका. The proposal later turned irregular because projected cash flow failed due to this. Now, first go through the statement. The branch environment may have weakened positive discipline through a lax implementation rule. So the officer has आपका deviated from the certain internal documentation timeline, but there was no evidence of personal gain and modified intention. So the branch has had a history of informal relaxation of the procedure. This is आपका actually the statement are आपका ऊपर नीचे हाँ. The branch had a history of informal relaxation of procedural timeline because senior management enforce disciplinary standard uniformly. Then the branch environment may weaken positive discipline due to lax implementation rule. So there was a relaxation of this. This should be correct now. First statement should be true then. The proposed counseling approach may be consistent with informative discipline principle. The officer has otherwise outsourcing service record with no prior vigilance. Another employee आपका they are found dormant in this. The recommended this is HR recommend counseling and corrective training for the first officer, while vigilance authorities recommended a major penalty in the second employee. So the officer passed the proposed counseling approach may be consistent with the informative discipline. This should be correct again. The officer past conduct and the service history may be relevant for examination accountability. The misconduct involving dormant accounts manipulation may justify strict action irrespective of small amount. Yes. The absence of malified intention in the consortium credit proposal would automatically bar disciplinary action with the officer. This is the absence of malified intent in the consortium credit proposal would automatically bar disciplinary action against the first officer. What was the case for a business entity? Projected cash flow in this. It will not automatically actually. Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4? Huh. I'll go with option A. This should not be automation. Aapka right? We'll just check the answer. Yes. The absence of malified आपका intention does not automatically eliminate the disciplinary examination. Negligence or procedural deviation may still require corrective or disciplinary evaluation depending on the circumstances. What was mentioned here? Absence of modified intention in this. What do you guys suggesting? A. No one is answering. Why, guys? Next one. Disciplinary procedures in different organization. Correct in the context of disciplinary procedures and principle of natural justice. A bank manager a bank manager issued a major penalty order against. I have to look forward. A bank manager issued a major penalty order against an employee for unauthorized absence after relying upon written statement of customers collected during the preliminary investigation. Copies of the statement were not supplied to the employee because disciplinary authority consider them internally confidential. Which of the following statement are correct? Disciplinary. The first one is correct here, right? The second one, when it comes to the second one, in a manufacturing company, the employee accused of financial irregularities and was permitted to inspect all documentary evidences and cross-examination management witness. However, the inquiry officer rejected the employee request to produce two defense witness and ground this may unnecessary prolonged proceedings. This also should be correct, right? The manipulation this because they are not giving any sort of opportunity to the person, right? Offer employee request to produce two defense witness on the ground of their testimony may unnecessary prolong proceedings in a. This should be correct, seems correct. Third one is your a disciplinary authority suspended an employee for social media misconduct and subsequently acted as inquiry officer in same proceeding because of organization lack of senior staff at the regional level. A disciplinary authority suspended an employee for a social media misconduct, subsequently acted as an inquiry officer in the. This can be done also. This should be correct. Employee repeatedly APA counsel and verbally warn for habitual late attendance failed to improve the despite multiple opportunity over 2 years. The employer thereafter initiated APA disciplinary procedure. Yes, this is also yes. A cashier negligently failed to follow cash balance procedures on one occasion without causing financial loss. After a summary inquiry, the employee was dismissed. No, this is wrong, aapka, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 means option B should be right answer for this particular one. What do you guys suggesting? Option B, B, yes. Option B will be right answer. Last punishment should be proportionate to misconduct. Okay? Like you cannot directly आपका discontinued the employment of that particular person itself. So that is something which is wrong in this case. Next one, guys. A senior treasury officer, public sector bank, was accused of leaking confidential customer exposure details to a brokerage firm whose account enjoys substantial credit facilities from the same bank. Simultaneously, CBI initiated criminal investigation alleging corruptions and abuse of official position. Bank immediately suspended the officer and issued a charge sheet. The officer sought permission to be presented at external lawyers, but bank allow only a serving officer employee as defense representatives. So, during the proceedings, the bank denied cross-examination of one market surveillance witness on ground of APA confidentiality. Meanwhile, criminal APA prosecutions did not commence for more than 14 months from the date of alleged offense. Okay, now which of the following bank refusal to permit an external lawyer is permissible under disciplinary framework because they have now that person is not member of the bank. For bank, if it is employee, this is wrong. But if it is not, they have already discharged that particular one, suspended in this. So it is under suspension in charge sheet. So it will be borne. It should be borne by the employee itself. The denial of cross examination opportunity has weakened the compliance with principle, yes, because though it is आपका confidentiality, but it will weaken the judgment. The delay in commencement of criminal trial permit departmental treatment of the matter as gross misconduct. Action of reviewing the authority is inconsistent with the review framework. The action of reviewing authority is inconsistent with the review authority. Review authority officer, the son. Meanwhile, criminal prosecution of this particular one because of the conclusion. The reviewing authority responded the matter after 8 months. This is also true then. The next one, the penalty of recovery from the retired dues necessarily prove that only a minor penalty was imposed. No. The penalty of recovery from the retrial due necessarily prove this one. Dismissal of the service. Discontinue this. Last statement we have to check. What you guys suggesting? No one is suggesting nothing, huh? Recovery of pecuniary losses may form a part of major penalties under the officer disciplinary regulation. Such recovery does not necessarily indicate only a minor penalty itself. Please do remember this particular one. Next one, guys. Next one. So, a retail credit officer repeatedly sanctioned small ticket MSME loan within a delegated authority by splitting larger proposal into multiple accounts across the related this. The deviation were noticed only after a spike in early NPAs, despite all sanction technically remaining with prescribed monetary limits. Which of the following situation occurring in different okay, this is, I guess, this is related to your disciplinary action. So this will attract the disciplinary action. The question is incomplete. In public sector bank, Zonal Vigilance Officer reported suspected procedure irregularity directly to zonal head because the CVO was on leave. The journal had instructed to the officer to avoid escalation. No, escalation they cannot avoid, right? The bank, a bank introduced automated monitoring system with which generated alert whenever the branch official repeatedly o- overrode the deviation in loan appraisal norms. So management treated the system as early warnings mechanism against this possible. This one true hai. The next one, during the recruitment of the frontline customer service role, bank informally instructed interview panel to prepare to prefer male candidate for a rural posting on the आपका assumption that women employees may face mobility challenge in remote during the recruitment of frontline customer service. This is आपका, this should be wrong actually. The regional office vigilance unit initiated आपका preventive security after notifying the unusual pattern of the sanction, renewal to the frequent waivers of documentation and closure of this particular. This is आपका true, right? So we need to check the answer D. D means आपका 1345 means this is also true, huh? So 1345, which is generally right answer for this. Next one. Okay, answer this question, guys. The answer is saying option A. So, आपका the correct statement related to sexual harassment at workplace, and you have to find out the correct statement. So, a supervisor repeatedly asking for subordinate employee out of dinner despite of clear refusal. So, this is the case. Second one, the internal complaint committee in bank can examine the complaint and recommend disciplinary action aware no FIR or police complaint has been filed. This is also true. Third one is आपका circulating sexual explicit memes or masses on an internal office WhatsApp group cannot amount to workplace sexual harassment because they are exchanged through the personal mobile phones. This is also correct. This is correct, huh? Third one. Persistent joke and singing or humiliating remarks. This is a case of आपका sexual harassment. Sexual harassment provision in bank apply only to misconduct by officer, not to reward officer. This is wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 means option B should be right answer for this, but B will be right answer. What was A? आपका 1, 3 is also correct. Yeah. This is आपका, this is kind of a, see, this is, you are not meaningfully targeting any person. You are just circulating these particular one. That is a case of misconduct, but not a case under the your this. So sexually explicit emails, texts, आपका this connected with workplace interaction can amount to sexual harassment. Use personal device does not automatically remove. Acha, okay. Means I'm going wrong here. Circulating this or this intent workplace cannot amount the, oh this should be okay. Sorry guys. Means आपका this is, you all are correct here. Third, it is targeting a personal person. So means this is wrong. Means आपका A is correct. What is given here? This is also no. The use of personal not automatically remove the workplace accountability. It was mentioned what workplace and they are exchangeable. They cannot amount. Okay, I guess this all. There is any interpretation of the statement, guys, which I'm missing. A is the right answer. Sri answer, Elvin sir, correct. So, POSEC 2013, a private insurance branch employing 14% constituted a single IC of for its zonal office and directed all branch level complaint from a different cities to be routed only through the that committee. No, this is up wrong, right? So IC is related to one each branch, right? This is not related to this. This should be wrong. Second one is a female intern engaged for 2 months in a fintech company. Alec repeated sexual colors remark by her manager during they did this. So POS Act would applicable in this case. Yes. A complaint requested upper conciliation before initiation of inquiry. A complaint requested conciliation before inquiry. The internal committee facilitated settlement under with accused officer agreed to issue a written apology and sponsor the complainant foreign certificate program in return for the closure of proceeding. This is like not a arbitrary. This should be wrong again. Na? An internal committee completed inquiry proceeding after 110 days. 110 days. It was upper max to 90 days, right? After all, it is 90 days and even reward for 90 days. So, आपका requested both parties. However, the employer implemented the committee recommendation within 30 days for receipt of this. It should be 90 days, right? The framework was 90 days only, right? this is again wrong, right? A women customer visiting a bank branch for locker operation complained that relationship manager repeatedly sent unwelcome messages containing implicit promises for the this and privately outside the office. The bank is आपका, it is a case of आपका this one. 2 and 5. We do not have, we have 2 and 5. C should be right answer for this one, guys. What you suggest? C. Yes. So first one, it is आपका internal committee at each office branch employ 10 and more. In this case, there was 14. Consultation may be permitted before inquiry if requested of the company, but monetary settlement cannot form a basis of conciliation under the Act. Internal committee is required to complete inquiry within 90 days. Okay, not after 110 days. It is 90 days, right? Next one. Which of the followings are correct in the context of POS Act? So the conduct of team leaders may amount to sexual harassment because implied promises relating to appraisal benefit in exchange for the personal favor is prohibited. It is a case of POSH, a case under the POSH, right? Since the alleged incident occur in hotel conference. Okay, the story I have deleted from this one, so let's try to interpret. Since the alleged incident occur in hotel conference hall outside the company premises, cannot be treated. It should be आपका, right? If it is related to work, it should be. This is wrong. The IC constituted by the company was defective because the act required inclusion of an external members. At least one half the statement seems correct here because it is one women, आपका proceeding officer senior level, आपका then two employees, one outsider also, right? It's from NGO or some association. The complaint could still be entertained because the complaint filing period may be okay. For this, we will be requiring time, but if it is within 3 months, this will be okay. I missed the initial story of this particular question, guys. So this point is here: a women proceeding officer at senior level, two employees, and आपका sexual member from this external member from these particular one, right? Okay, next one, ठीक है, module E. So when it comes to module E, we have emerging scenario in HRM. So we have these many units, 6 unit are part of this, but easy, doable, understandable, right? आपका contemporary practices, modern practices in employee engagement, organizational culture, corporate sustainability, green HRM, HR analytics, और आपका वूका एंड वानी, 100% one question around this, business ethics, आपका corporate governance and social responsibility, right? So this is our tomorrow's target. Okay, so in next session we will be targeting these units आपका. Okay, so tomorrow we will be completing the unit wise things. Then day after tomorrow we will be practicing only आपका unit wise question आपका we will be practicing. And then आपका Saturday we will be doing a concept just आपका around all these act or आपका different theories, model and others which we will be discussing in that session. Okay, so this is it from my side, guys. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you for watching this session. Do revise with the help of module mock test. I'll upload this PDF just after 10 minutes, so you can use that particular one for the revision purpose. Okay, so this is it. Bye bye, take care all.